role in getting us to this historic moment.
The court ruled federal law prohibits workplace discrimination against gay, lesbian, and transgender people, meaning they cannot be fired because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is confirming the U.S. Tennis Open will take place as planned starting August 31st, but with no spectators. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
ON Worldwide.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. President Trump is taking action after more than 3 weeks of police brutality protests following the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis.
I'm signing an executive order encouraging police departments nationwide to adopt the highest professional standards to serve their communities.
In the Rose Garden today, Trump expressed sorrow for victims of police violence and their families. He was joined by several police officials and vowed to fight for justice for all. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Americans have reached the tipping point on police brutality. The New York Democrat says Congress needs to come together to change the policing system in America.
This is a moment in American history. The great mass of our people are demanding change in the streets of our largest cities and smallest towns. Now is a moment to reach for real, lasting, strong, comprehensive change.
Schumer is urging Republicans to bring legislation on police reform to the floor for debate, but adds it seems they are already making excuses not to. Americans are eager to spend money after weeks of being locked down. The Commerce Department reports a record 17.7% increase in retail sales last month. Wall Street is responding with big gains, with the Dow up 700 points at times today. The lead plaintiff is rejoicing yesterday's historic Supreme Court ruling on LGBTQ rights. Gerald Bostock tells NBC's Today Show he's filled with joy and gratitude.
I'm still processing. It'll take some time, obviously, but I'm just proud to have taken a part in a role in getting us to this historic moment.
The court ruled federal law prohibits workplace discrimination against gay, lesbian, and transgender people, meaning they cannot be fired because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is confirming the U.S. Tennis Open will take place as planned starting August 31st, but...
Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email at joe@onesocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel on ON 1240, WOON One Socket Radio.
And a hearty good morning to you. It's Thursday morning. It's June 18th, and it is Coffee In on ON AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM. My name is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. On the phone with us this morning, we'll say hello to lawyer extraordinaire. It's Bob Lauder. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction. That must mean you're coming up with a whole lot of horrible questions that I can't possibly answer.
Nah, okay. I don't have any good questions for Bob this morning.
Right.
So you're off the hot seat for today.
Yes.
Also joining us, North Smithfield Town Administrator Gary Izoski, an extraordinaire in his own right. Hi, Gary.
Oh, good morning.
Oh.
Good morning. How is everybody?
I think we're doing okay this morning. You know,
how are you, Gary?
Extraordinary.
How's things going in North Smithfield?
Just perfect, Bob, as usual.
Everything is perfect.
Extraordinary, obviously. You know.
That's right.
Seems to be the word of the day.
Well, let me, Bob. Let me ask you this. Should they want to make it the legislators want to make it part of the onto the voting for the people to remove the word plantations from the Rhode Island official state name, which would sound kind of silly if you say the state name is State of Rhode Island and Providence. Wouldn't you have to remove and Providence?
Well, I imagine their idea is to remove the last three words of Providence Plantation.
Well, you would think so.
I always liked the concept that we had the longest name for the shortest state.
I always thought that was cool.
Think they might be able to come up with a synonym for plantations that does not have the pejorative image that plantations does. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of a synonym.
I bet they don't.
I probably not, but I would think something about Providence settlements or Providence. I'll have to get out a thesaurus and take a look. But there must be a word that has the connotation, because my understanding was that plantations, when it was put into the state name, wasn't so much the antebellum white-collar slavery plantations that you envision in the Deep South, but it was rather a farming area, a area
right.
which people were growing and building a community, but was not identified with slavery. But the fact that it's popularly become identified with slavery, I would hope we could come up with another word that doesn't have the slavery taint to it and can still be used. So we still have the longest name.
How about the name farm?
Kind of.
Well, it's bland and it's
bland. I think we need something that's got a little more spark to it than farm. But yeah, that same idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How about corruption?
Well,
no, come on.
That might have
bad connotations too.
Well, yeah, and we're already known as Rogues Island. I don't think Rogues Island and Providence corruption is going to.
We should go back to that. And no more road, R-H-O-D-E. Go back to R-O-G-U-E. We're apostrophe S. Rogues Island.
Sounds like Gilligan's Island.
Well, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you think? Should the plantations go away from the official state name? As a politician?
You know, at this point, I have to say yes. I think that we need to get this behind us. And it isn't the name that we use every day. I mean, around the country, people still think that we're part of New York, and
I know we do.
Near Long Island, all of that stuff. So but we're known as the state of Rhode Island, and
just make it that then.
Just move on. It's time to move on. We have other things that I think are far more meaningful that we need to get done. To let things like this be a source of discomfort to anyone. It's just time to move on.
Yes, you know what we need to do? We need to change the name of Aunt Jemima Pancake Syrup and Uncle Ben's and Mrs. Butterworth. They're all changing their names.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're okay with it, Bob?
Hey, if you're a marketing consultant for a major company and you know that a name of a product is going to probably turn off some potential purchases, I think that a smart marketing agent would say, let's make the name of this product something that will encourage all the people to purchase it, as opposed to discouraging some people from purchasing it.
That's a good point. If you had a new product or a new service, especially the Aunt Jemima one is 130 years old.
I don't think the age of the product matters. I think you're marketing to people right now today, and you want to make sure that as many people as possible are interested in purchasing your product. And if you know that the name is pejorative to some people and may turn them off from buying a very good product, you change it. You want to get everybody on board.
What I don't have is any kind of facts or figures in front of me. I don't know what the sales are for that particular brand, and have sales dropped off because of the name.
I don't know if sales have dropped off, but maybe it's a way of encouraging more sales.
Okay.
Getting more people to buy it. That's the goal in most commercial industries. You try to get people on board with you.
You feel the same way about Uncle Ben's rice and Mrs. Butterworth?
I think that under the present circumstances, both of those products seem to carry with it a pejorative that this is demeaning to people of African heritage. And yeah, I'd want to make sure that I had as many purchases as possible. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back 30 years on this one. Back when I was in college, and the people that I interacted with that were African Americans only bought Uncle Ben's rice. You know why?
I have no idea.
Because there was a black man on the logo. They enjoyed seeing that. Well, I don't know if enjoyed's the right word, but they specifically went for that brand because there was an African American on the cover.
Then the marketing strategy may not work. Maybe people will no longer purchase the products if they change their names. But,
maybe you won't know until you try.
I think that in today's society and culture, many advertisers would probably make this change.
All right. Well, Gary, you got to be glad you're not down in Providence, dealing with the strip clubs down there, because it's just.
What is going on in the Providence strip clubs?
Well, it's funny. The four of them have banded together, and they're usually in competition with each other. But they said we got to be one voice, so we can all be doing the same thing. And one of the clubs tried to open up, and only one dancer showed up because they said this. They're thinking this doing our business outside is ridiculous.
All right,
kind of thing. So they want things to change a little bit. And then go back. I guess go back inside. And I just, it just makes you wonder. I'm sure these clubs all have regular customers that go there all the time. Every drinking establishment has their regulars, and I just wonder if those regulars are going to show up, if they are going to do everything outside. I'm thinking probably not.
Maybe not all of their regulars, but I think one of the issues might be it's rather unfortunate if it's raining. I mean,
what do you do when it rains?
I don't know. Maybe the dancers come out in wearing Macintoshes and mucklucks and stuff like that, and rain gear. I don't know.
All right.
I'm just happy I don't have to worry about
That's
this.
right. It's just none of your concern, right, Gary?
Not a bit.
Excellent. All right. To your knowledge, Gary, has any kind of establishment like that tried to come to North Smithfield? Not as you as town administrator, but just as a resident of the town over so many years. Have you ever heard of any of that kind of entertainment trying to come to North Smithfield?
I don't believe so.
No?
I don't recall any, Joe.
Okay. I'm just wondering. You think about it, and you always think about those establishments that are in the cities. But do you know the town of Cumberland has one?
I did not.
It's way down south, and it's kind of on the Pawtucket. It's kind of on the Cumberland, Pawtucket, Attleboro line, in a residential neighborhood. But anyway, they have one. So, anyway, moving on to another subject, and we have a note that's been called in. It just says, leave it up to President Trump. Question, is he the only president to sue someone who was on his staff? Or for that matter, is he the only president to sue anyone while in office? Wow, I think so. Question marks. Bob, you got a good memory on these kind of things, Bob? I haven't heard, by the way, is the president actually suing somebody?
I think he is bringing action against John Bolton.
Oh, okay.
He's alleging that...
he doesn't want his book published, right?
He doesn't want the book published.
Yeah, okay.
And originally he was bringing the action against Bolton himself. Now it appears that he's extended that to trying to seek a restraining order, I would imagine, against the publishing company.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I were the president and was trying to stop the distribution of the product, the book, I would go and try and get an injunction against the distributor, the one who actually has it in their possession and has the authority to call up the warehouses and say, either to get it out to the booksellers or hold it back. And it sounds on the radio as though he didn't do that until late last night when they filed an emergency motion. So I don't know. As for suing somebody else while they're in office...
Yeah, any president. I can't remember of any.
I cannot think of any offhand. No. The Nixon administration tried to stop the publication of the Pentagon Papers, those documents that had been released by the psychiatrist in California. But that was the administration. It wasn't the individual, the president on his own, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I don't know if it's the president on his own or if it is the United States acting through the Attorney General. I haven't seen the pleadings.
Gary, you've been racking your brain. Can you think of a president that ever sued somebody while in office?
Not something that I've ever tracked, Joe. Don't suspect that I will.
Well, okay.
Well above my pay grade. I don't.
I'm just thinking if it was something, let's say, Dwight Eisenhower did in the 50s, people would remember that kind of thing. And he probably didn't. Which makes this president just so unique. Right, Bob?
Yes, that he is.
Man, you're luring me into an area, an area where you know I'm going to have vitriolic opinions.
I'm trying, Bob. I know what your opinion is, by the way, on the president. So you're never going to be. You're not going to his rally in Oklahoma, I bet.
Well, the rally in Oklahoma. At first, I was thinking it was unfortunate because of the large number of people who were going to be there. But I didn't realize there was a newspaper article that said that a lot of the people who attend President Trump's rallies are almost like groupies. Like my wife and I try to go to Jimmy Buffett concerts.
Oh, they follow him around?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And they're going to be coming from far away from just around Tulsa. And that, to me, brings up the possibility that people who come to the convention from other areas are going to bring the virus with them, or they're going to take it from where they are at the rally
and bring
it back to other areas. That's the most scary part of the whole concept of having so many people in a very small area.
Yeah.
I know that the administration has said that they're going to have masks and hand sanitizers, but there seems to be this undercurrent in American politics where wearing a mask is some kind of identification that you're either a far or left-wing Democrat or you're afraid as a sissy and not able to stand up for yourself. So I'm not sure how many of the people attending the rally are actually going to wear those masks. And it seems from the popular news articles that being in a crowded area and not wearing a mask has a high likelihood of catching the virus. There's that story about the 16 people who attended a bar down in Florida in the last week, and apparently they've all come down with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a...
Bob, are you saying that if it wasn't for COVID-19, you'd be at the rally?
I don't think that they would probably approve my application.
Okay, I just wanted to make
You don't have to fill out an application, Bob.
And there's no rallies coming up around here. I can't understand why.
Maybe well, he does tend to go to New Hampshire every once in a while. Because that's kind of his state. Mass, Rhode Island, especially Vermont. They're all Democratic states. Maine's kind of on the fence, but New Hampshire tends to be his ground in New England.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be interesting on Saturday.
It sure will be. All right, we're going to take a break on Coffee and we're going to get to stuff going on in North Smithfield. Don't worry about it, Gary. We're going to get to that. And if you have any comments or questions, give us a call, 766-1240. More of the Coffee and program is coming your way. Stay tuned.
When you walk into George's restaurant, you see two separate billboards with daily specials, and that's because they feature so much variety every day. How about a barbecue cheddar burger with sautéed onions and hand-cut fries, or a tuna bacon tomato mozzarella wrap with fries? On the other board, you'll see several breakfast specials, including George's Sausage Deluxe Omelet with hot Italian sausage, peppers, tomatoes, and mushrooms, or a peanut butter chip pancake. It's a treat every time. George's, 793 Harris Avenue, Woonsocket. Takeout's welcome.
Call George's Restaurant at 769-1036 for takeout.
Many of the items available at Wilfred Seafood are made right in-house, like their award-winning chowder, seafood salad, stuffed clams, crab cakes, and oven-ready entrees with 5 choices. Wilfred Seafood also carries everything you need to make your own clam cakes. Look for their weekly specials on many of your favorite seafoods, including swordfish, scallops, haddock, cooked shrimp, and salmon fillets. Wilfred Seafood on Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Open at 7 a.m. weekdays and 8 to 4 on Saturday.
Our lives have changed in many ways since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Spending more time at home has given us opportunities to organize, try new recipes, and take virtual fitness classes. We've embraced distant learning and connect with work and friends through Zoom meetings. But what about your children's mental health? Have you talked to them and asked them how they're feeling? Remember to check in with your kids. Take a walk with them, share a meal, and offer your support. Talk early, talk often, talk now.
This message sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Prevention Coalition and the Department of Behavioral Health Care, Developmental Disabilities, and Hospitals.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON, AM, and FM.
That's us, and it's Coffee Ann. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Joe Callahan. With us is North Smithfield Town Administrator Gary Ozoski, and Bob Lauder is with us as well. Still there, guys?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, Gary, the exciting news came down a couple of days ago. The state of Rhode Island, the DOT, has won a $65 million federal grant to pay for an overhaul of Route 146 going right through town.
Yay!
Well, I told you, Joe, that we were going to get that fixed because you needed it done. And, here it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Now it says Rhode Island won. So is this something that the senators had to go out and try to get for the state? Or is this something that you applied for? How did we get this $65 million?
Well, it's all what I did.
Oh, well, very good. Thanks, Gary. Going to take full credit. Okay.
No. It's my understanding that the Rhode Island DOT submitted a grant application through a federal program for this, and with the support of our federal delegation, we've been fortunate to see it come through. Obviously, I'm quite pleased with it. Also, from what we understand of the detail that was provided when the grant application was submitted, we're optimistic that this is a true solution to the traffic challenge that we all endure at Sales Hill and 146. And it's a solution that is also friendly to the businesses in that area, where the plan, again, as I understand it at this point, is to have 146 be bridged, the main traffic, the north and southbound traffic on 146, be bridged over the intersection at Sales Hill, while continuing to allow all of the movements that currently exist below the bridge, and access lanes on both sides of the main thoroughfare for access to the existing buildings. And it goes further in terms of good news, in that it's our understanding that is all to be done within the existing right-of-way. So far, everything about this is good news. We'll be watching it closely and making sure that we voice any concerns that from whether it be from a traffic perspective or from an access to business perspective. But generally, this is we see it all as good news right now.
So then, as a question, then, Gary, if you're coming up Sales Hill Road, I think it's Sales Hill Road. Let's say you're going down 99, and you get off at Sales Hill Road, you take a left, and then you're coming up to 146. Will there be a light that allows you to merge onto 146, or will the lights go away and you're just going to have to wait your turn to try to get onto 146 going north and or south? Going south is going to be kind of difficult, so I'm assuming that the lights are going to have to stay.
Well, I don't know what kind of traffic control will be established for the movements below the main artery. There may well be a traffic signal control, but that would only be for the traffic that it would be coming up the hill and looking maybe to go south. But it wouldn't be going south immediately onto the main travel lanes. It would go, you'd make the turn to the south and go onto an access road that would cause you to or give you the opportunity to drive a distance south and then merge into the main traffic circumstance, if you can envision that. I can't give you a parallel. I need to come up with one that
someplace else that has it already. Okay.
Yeah, but the idea is that all of the turning movements would be accomplished from the access roads that would be parallel to the main travel lanes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's hard to envision, but
it is.
I'm going to be really interested in seeing what the final plan is. I can't, in my own mind, conceive how they can do it. But there are one or two people out there who are smarter than me.
Well, you're not an engineer, Bob, so.
That's true. That's true.
But
although I can build a house of cards.
But that's what they do. That's what these people do. So Gary, basically, you can take credit for this because you always told us whenever you got on the phone with the DOT, the first thing you always asked them, okay, when's the paving going to start?
Yeah.
So the DOT could have said, to shut this guy up, we've got to win some kind of grant, or we got to at least apply for it.
Joe, we'll never know. I mean,
that's right.
Happy that something's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Our local legislative delegation was, expressed concern over the last year or two. Mayor in Woonsocket, Joe Allman, people in Smithfield. I mean, Mike Wood in Burrville. Everyone has indicated the need to make something happen here, and not just be the forgotten stepchild. So
mm-hmm.
We're happy that that something's to be done. There will be challenges with it. Clearly, change is good. You go first, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's all a good thing. I perceive at this point. What disappointments will there be along the way? I don't know, but we'll have to face them and make some careful decisions and voice our concerns with hope that we can come to a conclusion that makes it all come true.
Well, we had another email come in about this $65 million grant, and the writer says, actually, the panel is lying. Why? Because I'm, the writer, is the one who actually paid for it in cash, with taxes and things like that. It's basically a drop in the bucket for this writer, so he's pretty happy that this is actually – he's being sarcastic, but he's happy that this is happening. So we're going to have paving or repaving of 8 miles of Route 146 between Route 295 all the way to the Massachusetts border. So that can't happen fast enough, by the way, especially right at Sales Hill Road. They're also going to eliminate the traffic weave that you get at Route 99. And Gary, I'm surprised there isn't more accidents that happen right there. Coming off of 295, trying to merge onto 146 North.
Sure. There's a few points along that stretch of road that are difficult, and as traffic continues to grow, which inevitably it does, it presents more and more of a challenge. So, again, there's everything to be happy about with this. Getting some of our federal dollars, as the caller, or the person who emailed indicates. I mean, getting some of that money back is good news for Rhode Island. I don't know who we should say thank you to for it, but thank you. It's really the message. Just happy that it has come true.
They also say they're going to replace a U-turn ramp with a diverging diamond interchange. Does anybody have any idea what that means? And where is this U-turn ramp?
That might be a U-turn ramp. I'm wondering if that's at West Acres. As you get closer to Dowling Village, where in order to go south on 146, you're taking 146A.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't envision that in that circumstance.
Does anyone know what a diverging diamond interchange is?
No, and I'm afraid to ask my wife because she's probably going to say, let's go to Pietz and see if they have one.
Sorry, you can't wear this.
Oh, I mean, it's really an elongated, four-sided figure.
Okay.
I in my mind, that isn't an unusual intersection configuration. But again, I don't know where that fits in this overall plan. Just don't know.
Not until we see it, right?
That's right.
And then you'll say, "Oh, that's what a diamond interchange is." Now that I see it. All right. So not to be the downer on the whole thing about this, Gary, and I understand things take time, and the actual $65 million isn't here just yet, and who knows when it's going to arrive, but the start of this project is not going to happen until late next year. So we're looking at November or so of 2021 before it even starts. And I don't think it has a time limit of when it's going to end.
Keep in mind, Joe, that things like this take a significant amount of time to design.
Yeah.
So that's really not a long timeline to request bids. It's my understanding this is going to be a design-build project.
Okay.
So I happened, the news caused conversation yesterday between one of our residents who's a professional engineer that works in a design firm that hopes to do some of the work. And that's where I pick up that bit, that it will be like the 610 interchange reconfiguration that's going on in Providence right now. That's being done on a design-build basis as opposed to the traditional design, bid, and build. But still, there will be much in the way of calculation and planning that needs to go into this, even surveying to get field information about actual locations and finite locations of every little thing along the way. So that's not really a long timeline, and I actually see it as quite short, Joe, for the kind of project that this is.
Okay.
Gary, what is a design-build program as opposed to design-build and bid?
More typically in this arena, what's happened is the state will go out to bid for proposals from design firms separately, so that and then that design firm that's ultimately selected will create drawings and specifications that in turn are put out to bid by to contractors. So there are two agreements between the state and private entities, one for the design and one for the construction. That sometimes can result in conflict between the three parties, where there's different interpretations of what's written and finger-pointing starts. The theory, I guess, is that you eliminate that finger-pointing circumstance by putting the design and construction team together in one proposal to the state, so that if the designer and the builder don't like some aspect, it's up to them to figure out how to fix it.
All right. So
does that mean that the builder has to go out and solicit a designer or have them on board in their company to start with?
That's correct. Well, it becomes the proposal that goes to the state is from a team of designer and builder who will offer the work, the total package, to the state for X amount of dollars.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna take a break.
That's the way the 610 connector is being done as we speak, as I understand.
All right. We're gonna take a break here on Coffee In. But so what you're telling me, Gary, first off, is I need to be patient. Just be quiet and wait.
Well, no, in part, yes, but no, be demanding as well. That's the way we get things done, right?
All right. Well,
Gary still has his telephone line. He can still call the state on a daily basis. It'll get done.
And say, when are you starting? Why aren't you starting now? All right, we're going to take a break here on Coffee and time for the forecast being brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Today, the clouds are going away, and we're going to have a sunny day today and warm, high near 87. Tonight, we could see some patchy fog before midnight. Otherwise, we'll have increasing clouds and a low temperature around 63. Friday, some fog in the morning, cloudy through mid-morning and gradual clearing again with a high near 89 on Friday. Friday night, partly cloudy, low of 63. Saturday, mostly sunny, high near 90. Sunday, partly sunny and a high near 87. And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have, with the sun starting to peek out through the clouds, 74 degrees. Macy's Backstage welcomes you back with great deals on summer styles like shorts and tees, $19.99 and under, and beauty, $9.99 and under. Off price, on trend, arriving daily. Visit Macy'sBackstage.com.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Rhode Island Army National Guard. Aired by the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you getting the best insurance coverage possible? Why not find out by calling the Eston & Richard Insurance Agency? They're affiliated with many of the best insurance companies in America, financially sound and competitive, so they'll get the best rates and coverage for your needs. They insure homes, automobiles, condos, apartment houses, and businesses, including restaurants and service stations. Call Eston & Richard at 766-4200 or stop in at 342 Park Avenue, Woonsocket. Eston & Richard.
Hi, I'm Paul Eno. Ghosts, poltergeists, UFOs, Bigfoot, and weird phenomena that don't even have names yet.
And I'm Ben Eno. Every Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. here on ON 1240, get a whole new look at the weird world we live in on Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno.
Every week we bring you the world's greatest experts and most amazing experiencers, from PhDs to abductees.
And you'll see soon that explaining the paranormal isn't the problem, it's handling the explanations.
Be there.
Coffee Ann on ON, AM and FM. This is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. With us on the Coffee Ann panel today is North Smithfield Town Administrator Gary Ozoski and Bob Lauder. And Bob, time for first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my law practice here in Woonsocket. My name is Bob Lauder. I've been licensed to practice in Rhode Island and also Virginia for more than 43 years. My office is located in Woonsocket on Blackstone Street, across from the Grace Christian Fellowship Church. Presently, my work primarily concentrates in wills and estate planning, trusts, probate administration, including decedent estates, guardianships, family law, including divorces, child support, child custody disputes, landlord-tenant litigation, real estate, commercial as well as residential, and title examinations. Usually, the initial consultations with my office are free. If you have a legal matter you'd like to discuss with me, please call for a telephone conference. My phone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much. So, Gary, in this $65 million grant that the DOT is going to get to help repave and reestablish Route 146, is there anything that they may have forgotten that you want to have done to 146 that says, this isn't part of the list of things that's going to get done?
Well, again, this is the only plan that I've seen, Joe, is very diagrammatic, preliminary. So it's difficult to answer that. I will say that there are some utility issues that we need to make sure get considered in that in the timeline when this project is being done.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a further help to that portion of our town. Water and sewer infrastructure are sorely needed in that stretch of roadway to optimize what could happen from a business development standpoint. Right now, there are properties that could be put to different uses that just can't because because of the limitations of what being on a well and a on-site sewage disposal system create in the way of obstruction.
All right, I know
that would be something that I would hope we would look at.
Sure. I know it's early, and the announcement just came out a couple of days ago that they're going to be doing this, but have you had any contact with the folks at Anchor Subaru or the gas station that's right there, or Mungian Auto? and how it's going to affect their businesses when they try to reconstruct that interchange with Sales Hill Road?
We have had conversations with Bob Benoit from Anchor on this issue on a regular basis.
Okay.
And did have a text exchange with him over the earlier this week, I guess, on it. So yeah, I mean, we'll be, as I said, it's my understanding that the work will be done within the existing right-of-way. That may change some ramp locations. It could present some challenges to existing business. We'll be watching for that and trying to make sure that the business opportunities that are there have the opportunity to continue.
I just wonder if when they get out there and try to do something, will they have to take any of their land?
Well, that's again what they've indicated to us thus far is that the current design is able to be done within the existing right-of-way.
Okay. All right. Well, it's all good news right now, right?
Exactly.
All right. So we're
because I don't know if some of the difficulty in perception right now is that it could be that the fact that the main highway or the main traffic is going to be elevated creates room below.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, that some of this stuff for the turning movements in particular can be taking place under the bridge that will be created for the traffic going for the main traffic going north and south. So we just we let it unfold a bit, and I think just be happy for the good news at this point until we have to face the challenges that it will present at some point. There'll be some. We know there'll be some. But.
Okay. And part of the $65 million, do they plan on replacing some bridges? I thought I read that somewhere.
I think there are 3 bridges that are to be addressed.
Okay.
In that. There's also another project coming up that I think is already in design. That's to replace the culvert that provides transmission of Crookfall Brook under 146, just south of Sales Hill and north of the 295 interchange, that right at the town line. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Sure. All right. When the new bridge goes in or new structure goes in at the Sales Hill Road, we'll discuss then. Well, you won't be town administrator then, but we'll still kick it around because we want to name it the Robert Lauder Bridge.
There you go.
I think that's highly unlikely.
I don't know why not,
That
Bob.
guy is so confused about so many things. I think that having a bridge, it would just do that for this massive tangle, and you'd never get anything done. Yeah.
All right.
Plus, it would also probably only have left lanes.
Well, there you go. Oh, that's funny. All right, Gary, we had a note that's been called in for you and on a different subject. To Gary, why are there so many trucks on Providence Pike lately? It is getting dangerous. There has been more truck traffic lately, I guess, on Providence Pike. Is there a reason for that, or are you aware of it?
I'm not.
Okay.
There are no detours in effect at the moment that I'm recalling, and I'm not aware of any. Trying to think of any major construction project that has started, but even that's not. We have some road repaving to be done. There is a waterline project that we started over on Mechanic and Old Great Road, but that shouldn't be impacting Providence Pike. I don't know if the caller can provide more detail on the kind of trucks. Of course, that is a state-numbered route. We don't have there are no limitations that we can put on that. It may be a function of just some different business activity in our industrial park on Industrial Drive. I'm not sure.
Okay. Right. Just wondering about that. Now, there's Gary. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a front page story in this week's Valley Breeze that just came out today. Have you had a chance to take a look at the front page of the Valley Breeze?
The front page. Yeah, I did glance at that.
Okay, because there's a story today in today's Valley Breeze about the company North Smithfield Tree Service on Victory Highway, which is across from they're located across from the Slatersville Plaza. They've been getting, or the town's been getting, complaints from neighbors and from town officials about their storing of trucks on their property.
Yeah, it's a very disappointing circumstance where I've said to many people, well, I think it's been clear over the years that I've sat here that I am an advocate for business in town, but this is not the kind of business that we want to advocate or be encouraging. It's really disappointing to see a property like that being used the way it is. And
is he not storing? Are they not storing their own trucks? Are they storing other trucks on their property?
It appears to be the vehicles that are associated with the business, but just the way this is all being done is just totally inconsiderate to the abutting property owners.
Okay.
And, it's our zoning officer has been enforcing the ordinances and providing notices, citing as needed, and we've tried the current circumstances with COVID-19 have precluded the municipal court from meeting, but the latest that I have on that is that there will be a hearing on I believe it's July 15th. The court had indicated that it wouldn't convene until September, but I through the solicitor, I mean, the administration doesn't run the court. As Bob will caution, it's a separate element of government and makes its own decisions. We've simply encouraged that this is a challenging issue. It needs to be adjudicated, and then from what I've learned, other courts are starting back into practice by doing such things as only allowing the people who are related to an individual case into the courtroom at a particular time, and then when that case is done, everybody leaves, and the next case related group comes in. So working with the details of the virus and trying to expedite this circumstance such that this business owner business problem gets remedied.
On the abutters to the property, are they? Is it residential or is it other businesses?
Well, there are other businesses, but the folks that we have heard from have been the abutting residential property.
Okay. Are they? Is it just not zoned for them to have those kind of trucks on their property? Is
There's
it that?
a combination of things.
Okay.
And I'm, I don't have the kind of, off the top of my head knowledge of the zoning ordinance that our zoning official would, but an entity like that could run an office from that location, I believe, and not have any difficulties with people nearby. But the storage of logs, brought in some crushed asphalt, and then the number of vehicles that are parked there. Some are parked on the edge of the road. Some are registered, some are not.
It's an issue.
There's one building that has no door on it.
Really?
It's as the article says. I did read that article. The property, the owner has been trying to sell it and looking for another location in town. He has had activity on 2 other locations, and that one of those at least has been problematic to my recall. So this is, we have had other tree companies in town that have operated without being an issue with neighbors. This one is a repeat offender.
I see.
Don't mind saying that needs to be managed, and trying to do that as best we can within the rules that are available to us.
Sure. Okay, we're going to take another break here in the Coffee and program. So, Bob, it's time for your second message from your law office, please.
Good morning. I'd like to talk to you this morning about child support. Who is responsible, how one secures financial child support, and the means of calculating the amount of child support which may be owed to an individual. The law of the state of Rhode Island requires that each parent, both mother and father, participate in the financial support of their children. Frequently, in situations of divorce or where non-married parents are no longer living together, the children spend most of their time living with only one parent. For purposes of support, this parent is considered to be the custodial parent. Placement of the child with a custodial parent does not release the non-custodial parent from the responsibilities of paying child support. And parenthetically, lack of visitation between the non-custodial parent and the children does not release the non-custodial parent from the responsibility of child support either. Custodial parents who are unemployed may qualify to receive aid for dependent children, which is a form of child support paid by the state. However, when a custodial parent applies to the state for aid for dependent children, that parent assigns to the state the parent's right to seek payment of child support from the non-custodial parent. The state will vigorously pursue this assignment and will require the non-custodial parent to become before the court to inquire into their income and to seek garnishment of the non-custodial parent's wages to reimburse the state for the money provided for the support of the children. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please contact my office for a telephone conference. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court is not licensed to certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. And we're coming right back. If you have any comments or questions, phone them in, 766-1240 for the Coffee and Panel. Riverfront Patio Dining awaits you at River Falls Restaurant. Enjoy your lunch or dinner as you overlook the Blackstone River. Here are some of the wonderful items on the menu: steak and peppers pizza, baked stuffed haddock, and choice filet mignon. Make your River Falls Restaurant reservations today by calling 401-235-9026. 235-9026, or go online to riverfallscomplex.com. You'll love the Riverfront Patio Dining at River Falls Restaurant, Market Square, Woonsocket.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. Kara, what's the best part of your job?
The best part of my job is providing security to families and help protect what's important to them. My specialty is picking apart policy details so customers understand their coverages and options. It can be very overwhelming, and I am here to help with that.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Hey, this is Dave Koz, and I hope you can join us this weekend for a very special Father's Day edition of the show. We'll be hearing from some big names in music about the dads in their lives. Check out davekoz.com during the week and be here this weekend for a special Father's Day edition of the Dave Koz Radio Show.
Hi, fans of smooth jazz. The Dave Koz Radio Show is right here on ON AM and FM, 1240 AM, 99.5 FM every Sunday. Twice on Sundays, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Dave Koz Radio Show is brought to you by the Carew Investment Group. Tune in to the Dave Koz Radio Show right here on
ON AM and FM.
Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and North Smithfield Town Administrator Gary Izaski. Hey, Bob.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard this news this morning. Gene Kennedy Smith, the last surviving sibling of President John Kennedy, Senator Robert Kennedy, Senator Ted Kennedy, has passed away.
I'm sorry.
At the age of 92.
Wow.
Yeah, born in Brookline, Massachusetts in 1928. She was the 8th of 9 children of the Kennedy clans there. So she
big
is
families in those days.
Yes, she is survived by 4 children and 6 grandchildren. So there you
I saw someone else had passed away in the news. Was listed in the newspaper. It has no meaning to you, but Gary and I may have a vague recollection. It was Vera Lynn. She was a singer in Britain. She was 103 years old. And what was surprising is she had a record, a re-release record, that was in the top hundreds or something within the last couple of years.
Wow.
She was famous for wartime songs.
All right. Well,
at 103, Bob, that makes her 20 years older than I am and 10 years older than you, isn't it?
Well, you're being generous there, Gary.
I wasn't. That's not a name that I was familiar with. Sorry.
Sorry, Bob.
Her big song was "We'll Meet Again," but that's only for historical aficionados who read about stuff like that. Yep.
Is that?
And you don't want me to sing it.
Is that "We'll Meet Again" some sunny day?
Yep, that's it.
All right. I do know. I know that song.
Ah.
And you know how I know that song?
No. How?
Have you ever, Gary or Bob? Have you ever seen the movie Dr. Strangelove?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, Bob, you need to see it, Gary. Bob, at the end of the movie, I'm sorry, I'm going to give away the ending. But at the end of the movie, Bob, when the nuclear bombs are going off, they're playing that song. We'll meet again some sunny day. It's the juxtaposition makes it very funny.
I had not remembered that at all. Wow.
Yes, watch it again at the very end. They're playing that song. Gary, it's an incredibly black comedy. That's extremely funny by Stanley Kubrick. I highly recommend it.
That's the one where Slim Pickens is riding the bomb down, isn't it?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Another fantastic scene. All right. So, Gary, yesterday, as a matter of fact, they took a ride over to Dowling Village, took a look at the apartments that are going up over there, and things seem to be coming along pretty smoothly. Do you know of a time when I know COVID-19 has probably put a stop to a lot of stuff, but things seem to be okay over there. Do you have a time when maybe they can start renting?
I believe that is on target for late summer or early fall
of this year. Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you been over there recently to take a look?
Well, I haven't been on the site. I've been in the village, obviously, for different needs, but and observed that it is coming along, and I'm looking forward to that, being finished and added to the whole complex there.
Okay. Because of COVID-19, Gary, some of the restaurants have now started to open back up, and things looking okay with some of the restaurants in town in North Smithfield, business-wise?
Yeah, I stopped by for takeout at one this weekend, and that had opened a dining room, and indicated that the first day wasn't what they had hoped for, but things were growing, and they're still maintaining the takeout side of things as well. So I'm certainly happy to see any of our long-term institutions in town, making that step to reopen and do it as carefully and as controlled as needed. And I hope that we, as a general public, gather the confidence that we need to get back out there and try to make things more normal. I still think it's going to be there's going to be a timeline here that may go slower than we expect, but that may not be a bad thing. Just hope that every one of the restaurants in particular can regather their staffs and ramp up to a circumstance that becomes full operation soon. Paper this morning talks about the governor, I guess, forecasting some of the conditions that she'll be projecting for Phase 3. I haven't seen a date or heard a date as yet, but I'll be watching to, like everyone, I think, to hear what it is that she and the Board of Health are proposing. And I think there's been a lot of anxiety over, well, why can't we have a wedding of 100 people when you get 100 people in a supermarket, or And
Or you can have 300 in a protest.
well, that kind of goes off the charts, but
Yeah.
just the allowed circumstance. And what I don't know if it was Dr. McDonald or Dr. Alexander Scott who explained in one of the calls recently, or remember where, but the difference in the activity is what the epidemiologists look at. The 100 people that are in a Bridget O's Market or a Stop and Shop or Walmart, gathering food, are there with a purpose. They may know some of the other people that are in the store, but it isn't Old Home Week. It's it's there to when you contrast that circumstance with what would happen at a wedding or a funeral, the circumstance is such that the people that are at a wedding are more likely to know one another,
Sure.
be a close family, be willing to be hugging and
Right.
The things that we do at weddings that are the activities of the singing and dancing and elevated respiratory activity creates the risk that's different from what
Then like
you
at a
experience
super Stop and Shop, yeah.
in the food store.
Yeah.
So that's where I think we have to trust the leadership that we have. I think we've been very fortunate with what guidance we've received from the Board of Health here in Rhode Island. I can't speak to anything in other states or nationally. I'll just look at. I think we've received good guidance from that team, and if we continue to follow it, and I think they feel the pressure that people want to get back to doing, especially summer activities and the like. That keeps it all in balance. That hopefully we'll see some wider reopening in phase 3, and with that, hopefully no surge in cases. That I continue to keep Town Hall in a condition where we're closed to the public. We're carrying out most of our activity able to carry out most of our activity and service to customers online, by mail. Some folks will show up at the door, and we handle those things on a case-by-case basis. And until we get through this period where there have been some events, as you relate, in the past few weeks that could result in a spike in cases. We haven't seen that as yet. I hope that continues to be the case, and that we all can get back to it'll never be normal again, I don't think, but get to a point where we can be more regular. I don't know what the right term is.
All right, one final question for you, Gary, then we got to go. From what I've read, everything went well with the North Smithfield High School graduation and their drive-in over there at the high school.
It was every response that I've seen is that it was outstanding, and it's a great example of how I think we things happen, and we have to deal with them, whether we're a 18-year-old leaving high school or a teacher or administrator or a town, and you can make things as good as they can be. And I think this graduation is an example of how we may look back at this graduation as the one to beat. So it went very, very well.
Excellent.
So proud of the administration and the way that they handled all of that.
Fantastic. All right, Gary, thanks for joining us on Coffee and for your monthly visit. Always nice to have you here. We'll have you back again next month.
Look forward to it. Pleasure, guys.
All right. And Bob Blotter, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Hope to be with you next week.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll talk to you this afternoon here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON, Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM. And now, the news. A Rhode Island brewery is earning some buzz this week for a new beer that throws shade at Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski for leaving the New England Patriots. Brady said Brady and Gronk are set to make their debuts with a Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the upcoming NFL season. Pawtucket-based Smug Brewing beer of note is
an imperial fruit sour with a sea salt called Traitor Aid. Sounds tasty.
Russ Olivo writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call, the vote by the Woonsocket City Council this week to form an advisory board to review programs and policies for evidence of racial bias and other forms of discrimination passed unanimously, but the session was anything but an exercise in political harmony. It came after nearly an hour's worth of often heated discussion in which members traded some of the most prickly and unflattering rhetoric voiced during a meeting of the council in some time. Much of the hostilities spun off Councilman Alexander Kithis' relay of a last-minute request for changes to the board that would have removed much of the council's discretion to choose who may serve on it. The request, which Kithis had received after the meeting had actually began in a text message during the meeting's time, came from the Woonsocket Alliance to Champion Hope, and would have required the board to include 2 African Americans, 2 Asians, 2 Hispanics, 2 Native Americans, 2 women, and 2 homosexual or transgender people, and no other people. The sponsor of a series of Black Lives Matters protests in the city, Watch as they are known, has also sent all members of the council an email a few minutes before the meeting began asking the proposal to form the board be tabled altogether. The email questioned whether the white members of the council could do a satisfactory job in assembling the racial review panel. Details in today's Woonsocket Call.
Navigant Credit Union wants you to know that in spite of what some are saying about the economy, their thoughts are always with you, the Navigant member. If you have a small business or are involved in the management of one, you might want to talk to Navigant's Commercial Lending Department. If you need capital to expand or purchase new equipment, call the Business Lending Department at 401-233-4700. They'll visit your office and work with you to create a plan to get you the money you need without the usual problems. For more information, call 233-4700. Your success is Navigant's business. Navigant Credit Union. Let's enjoy the journey together.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Coronavirus cases are spiking in several western states and southern cities. Tulsa County, Oklahoma, where President Trump holds a rally on Saturday, reported its highest number of new coronavirus cases this week. Memphis, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama, and Fayetteville, Arkansas have all made masks compulsory in public. Arizona's confirmed record numbers of cases over the past week. President Trump is telling Fox News those places are nothing more than temporary hotspots.
We're in great shape to put out I used to call them the embers or the flames. They flare up in certain areas a little bit, but I think we'll put them out very quickly, and we won't be closing the country again. We won't have to do that.
The United States has over 2 million confirmed cases of coronavirus, with over 117,000 deaths. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom says morale on the police department is down tenfold since charges were filed in the death of Rayshard Brooks last Friday. On Wednesday, former officer Garrett Rolfe was charged with 11 counts, including felony murder. Officer Devin Brosnan faces 3 charges, including aggravated assault. Both Rolfe and Brosnan are expected to surrender today. An attorney for Brosnan is refuting the Fulton District Attorney's claim that the officer will be a witness for the state in the Brooks case. Mike Bauer reports.
Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard revealed in his press conference yesterday that
Officer Brosnan has now become a state's witness. He has decided to testify on behalf of the state in this case.
However, immediately after that press conference, one attorney for Officer Brosnan said his client has not agreed to be the state's witness in the Rayshard Brooks death case. Attorney Don Samuel said Officer Brosnan is absolutely not guilty of any crime, will not plead guilty, and has not agreed to be a state's witness.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Lou Mandeville here with a look at sports. The conversation to get Major League Baseball players back on the field continued yesterday between Rob Manfred and President of the Union, Tony Clark. The conversation centered on a 60-game season that would start July 19th or 20th and end September 27th. That's 60 games in 70 days. according to sources. Players would be paid their full prorated salaries and would receive another $25 million for postseason play and $33 million in forgiveness on the $170 million advancement they received in their March agreement. The playoffs would expand for the next 2 seasons from 10 to 16 teams, and both leagues would use the designated hitter as part of the agreement. The Major League Baseball Players Association has yet to approve the new agreement. On this date, June 18, 1975, Fred Lynn gets 10 RBIs in a game as the Red Sox top the Tigers 15-1. Big day for birthdays today. Happy 64th to former catcher Sandy Alomar Jr. Happy 45th to hockey star Martin St. Louis. And happy 40th birthday to former tight end Antonio Gates of the Chargers. That is your look at sports. Throw in sports. I'm Lou Mandeville.
Woonsocket Door Sales can handle any kind of door installation, including residential and commercial, paying special attention to your door's infrastructure, such as framework repair, to ensure that your door is firmly in place. Woonsocket Door Sales is a 4th-generation family business, installing and repairing all types of doors. Please visit their website at woonsocketdoorsales.com to see a gallery of door styles, manufacturers, and testimonials from satisfied customers. Woonsocket Door Sales, 767-3448. Call Amy Bebo at 767-3448.
This ONAM and FM forecast brought to you by A Special Place at 719 Front Street in the NeighborWorks Plaza near Champ's Diner. Their hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Thursdays till 8. The phone number, 401-597-0950 for A Special Place.
Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92.
ON Radio.
Brady and Gronk are set to make their debuts with a Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the upcoming NFL season. Pawtucket-based Smug Brewing beer of note is an Imperial Fruit Sour with a sea salt called Traitor Aid. Sounds tasty.
Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was.
Why, Mortimer. Bill. Is that you under that blindfold?
Bill, with this thing on, I can't see who I am.
No, I imagine not. Can't you see anything at all under that blindfold?
On a clear day, I can see the blindfold.
You can?
Yeah.
When Radio Was, shows from the past for today's imaginations.
When Radio Was airs Monday through Friday, right here on ON 1240 Radio at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m.
Joe Fitzgerald writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Blackstone. Mary E. Bolso and Robert J. Kluchevitz are the 2 new members of the Blackstone Board of Selectmen. Bolso and Kluchevitz were the 2 top vote-getting candidates in Monday's annual town election, defeating incumbents Margaret Bick, who came in third, and Gerald P. Rivet. According to Town Clerk Tara C. Sullivan, a total of 898, or 14% of Blackstone's voters, came out to the polls. Bolso was the high vote getter in the 4-way race for selectmen, with the 2 3-year seats up for grabs. Collecting more than 521 votes, Kluchevitz placed second with 412, Bick got 402, and Rivet came in with 365. Lots of details, including a focus on the Millville voting in today's Woonsocket Call.
You have one old message. Tuesday, 7:15 p.m. The Woonsocket Public Safety Department is aware of vast social media posts threatening violence, vandalism, and harm to police and local businesses and property. Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt, Public Safety Director Eugene Gillette and Police Chief Thomas F. Oates III are recommending residents stay in their homes tonight for their safety and allow public safety to manage potential lawless groups. End of messages.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Thursday's weather, mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming sunny with a high near 89. Friday, mostly sunny, 87. Saturday, mostly sunny and 90. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, 87. Monday, partly sunny and 86. And next Tuesday, partly sunny with a high of 88.
Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was.
Why, Mortimer.
Bill,
Is that you under that blindfold?
Bill, with this thing on, I can't see who I am.
No, I imagine not. Can't you see anything at all under that blindfold?
On a clear day, I can see the blindfold.
You can.
Yeah.
When Radio Was, shows from the past for today's imaginations.
When Radio Was airs Monday through Friday right here on ON 1240 Radio at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m.
You have one old message. Tuesday, 7:15 p.m. The Woonsocket Public Safety Department is aware of vast social media posts threatening violence, vandalism, and harm to police and local businesses and property. Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt, Public Safety Director Eugene Gillette and Police Chief Thomas F. Oates III are recommending residents stay in their homes tonight for their safety and allow public safety to manage potential lawless groups. End of messages.
The Rhode Island General Assembly has approved a ban on 3D printed guns and untraceable or undetectable guns known as ghost guns. Governor Raimondo has publicly indicated she intends to sign the bill into law that was sent to her desk. The legislation calls for a prison sentence of up to 10 years and up to $10,000 in fines for violations of that law. The Rhode Island House passed another bill last night sent on to the Senate that requires background checks for firearm purchases to be run by the buyer's hometown police department, who may, in some cases, know them better.
Get down to brass tacks at home with me, Bob Vila, and my tip of the day every day right here.
Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day can only be heard on ON, AM, and FM every weekday at 6:50 in the morning. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day is brought to you by Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. Bob Vila's Home Improvement Tip of the Day on ON Radio.
ON Radio.
Massachusetts state officials are confirming another 69 deaths from the coronavirus in the Bay State. Public health officials also reported 266 new cases testing positive for the coronavirus. The number of deaths from the virus in Massachusetts has climbed over 7,500 since the pandemic began. Over 101,000 people have tested positive for the virus in Massachusetts.
We've been talking about internet-targeted advertising. Now, let's talk about TV. The television industry is more competitive than ever, with media companies like Netflix and Hulu disrupting viewership patterns and causing the big networks to rethink their marketing strategies for the new fall TV lineup. So, what drastic measures did ABC, CBS, and Fox do to drive viewership? They invested heavily in radio. You got it. Television's turning to radio to promote their products. The last week of September, ABC, CBS, and Fox were 3 of the 8 biggest spenders on radio. Really, it shouldn't come as a surprise, as radio reaches 93% of the U.S. population on a weekly basis. Let's put the power of radio to work for you. Even television owners know, with radio, you don't have to see our ads to get results.
ON Radio. WOON Woonsocket. 1240 Woonsocket. First for fun, we're number one. The fun spot, it's true, is the Big W. Big W Woonsocket. WOON, the crossroads of the Blackstone Valley. WOON Woonsocket.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. The Trump administration is pushing to temporarily block the release of a book written by a former national security advisor. The Justice Department filed an emergency application Wednesday evening for a restraining order to stop John Bolton's memoir. President Trump explained why to Fox News.
He broke the law. Very simple. I mean, as much as it's going to be broken, this is highly classified. That's the highest stage. It's highly classified information, and he did not have approval. That's come out now very loud and very strong.
The DOJ's filing comes after some excerpts were published in the Washington Post. Among them, the claim from Bolton that President Trump asked Chinese President Xi for help in his re-election campaign. The room where it happened is due out next week.
ON Worldwide. Odds are better than even. You've had some kind of employment change over the last few months. A new survey from tax preparer Jackson Hewitt says 55% of working Americans were affected in some way, ranging from having to work at home or being laid off or furloughed. For those collecting unemployment, 37% didn't know those benefits are considered taxable income, and more than half didn't realize they need to request those taxes be withheld from their unemployment compensation. The record number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits is a new opportunity zone for scammers. The Secret Service is warning crooks are using personal information you've posted on social media to pose as you and file a claim.
If you would go on Facebook and see when a person's birthday is, you can know their name, and now you have their birthday, and be able to go somewhere else and get some other personal information.
It appalled me. Once I found out exactly what it was.
Bobby Stanton found out in late May that he was targeted.
My concerns about it is real simple. If somebody can get my identity and turn around and, draw unemployment, doesn't make sense.
Investigators say fraudsters get your address and monitor your home in hopes of getting a debit card from the state.
They're hoping that individuals, in some cases, may not be home when the mail comes.
Rosalind Anderson reporting for NBC News. If you didn't file for unemployment and get notice that you did from the state's Employment Security Department, contact your employer's Human Resources Department and file a complaint with the Labor Department. And for-profit colleges operating entirely online are benefiting big time from high unemployment. The New York Times says several are reporting surging enrollment, but student protection groups call it a troubling trend. That's because many of the for-profits gaining the most have had the most troubling records, including poor graduation rates, misleading job prospect claims, and students with some of the highest debt loads. Consumer and Business News, Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
Momentum is building to remove the plantations part of the full name of the state of Rhode Island. State Senator Harold Metz introduced a resolution at the State House on Wednesday to have voters approve a constitutional change. While the plantations part of the Rhode Island and Providence plantations was not meant to be a direct reference to slavery, well, some people say the word still carries a negative connotation in their minds as part of a nationwide reckoning on race relations.
Russ Olivo writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from North Smithfield, it looks like the poster child for Northern Rhode Island's neglected road infrastructure, you guessed it, Route 146, is finally in line for a comprehensive makeover that includes the most deteriorated stretches of the region's principal artery. The Rhode Island Department of Transportation has been awarded a landmark $65 million federal grant to overhaul Route 146. The money comes from the Infrastructure for Rebuilding America grant, the INFRA, and will cover the replacement of multiple bridges and the reconfiguration of the much-decried interchange at Sales Hill Road, a veritable strip of pothole-ridden rubble. The reporter says in today's call, the repairs will cover the reconstruction of miles of roadway on the road's path through Rhode Island, as well as improvements to enhance safety and reduce congestion. Details in today's Woonsocket Call. Russ Olivo writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call. From Woonsocket, the Woonsocket City Council held fast to its commitment on Monday to move forward with greater tax parity for residential and commercial ratepayers on overriding Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt's vetoes on the central provisions of the $152.2 million fiscal year 2021 budget. The panel approved earlier in the month, citing the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Baldelli Hunt sought to restore the original version of the budget that she proposed, which had called for a tax cut of 1% for both classes of property owners. That's why she vetoed. Voting 5-2, however, the council restored the adjustments that they had voted on earlier. Taxes for both classes are still going down, but commercial ratepayers will get a reduction of almost 2%, and residential property owners will get just a fraction of a percent's relief. The council's budget boils down to a tax bill that's about $28 more for the average homeowner than the mayor's plan per year. The councilors who supported the override say the commercial sector shoulders such a top-heavy portion of the overall tax burden, far more than other communities nearby. The rate structure serves as a disincentive to keep existing businesses in the city or attracting new ones. Details in today's Woonsocket Call. Joe Fitzgerald writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Blackstone. Mary E. Bolso and Robert J. Kluchevitz are the two new members of the Blackstone Board of Selectmen. Bolso and Kluchevitz were the two top vote-getting candidates in Monday's annual town election, defeating incumbents Margaret Bick, who came in third, and Gerald P. Rivet. According to Town Clerk Tara C. Sullivan, a total of 898, or 14% of Blackstone's voters, came out to the polls. Bolso was the high vote-getter in the four-way race for selectmen, with the 2 3-year seats up for grabs. Collecting more than 521 votes, Kluchevitz placed second with 412, Bick got 402, and Rivet came in with 365. Lots of details, including a focus on the Millville voting in today's Woonsocket Call.
Odds are better than even. You've had some kind of employment change over the last few months. A new survey from Tax Preparer Jackson Hewitt says 55% of working Americans were affected in some way, ranging from having to work at home or being laid off or furloughed. For those collecting unemployment, 37% didn't know those benefits are considered taxable income, and more than half didn't realize they need to request those taxes be withheld from their unemployment compensation. The record number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits is a new opportunity zone for scammers. The Secret Service is warning crooks are using personal information you've posted on social media to pose as you and file a claim.
If you would go on Facebook and see when a person's birthday is, you can know their name, and now you have their birthday, and be able to go somewhere else and get some other personal information.
It appalled me. Once I found out exactly what it was.
Bobby Stanton found out in late May that he was targeted.
My concerns about it is real simple. If somebody can get my identity and turn around and, draw unemployment, doesn't make sense.
Investigators say fraudsters get your address and monitor your home in hopes of getting a debit card from the state.
They're hoping that the individuals, in some cases, may not be home when the mail comes.
Rosalind Anderson reporting for NBC News. If you didn't file for unemployment and get notice that you did from the state's Employment Security Department, contact your employer's Human Resources Department and file a complaint with the Labor Department. And for-profit colleges operating entirely online are benefiting big time from high unemployment. The New York Times says several are reporting surging enrollment, but student protection groups call it a troubling trend. That's because many of the for-profits gaining the most have had the most troubling records, including poor graduation rates, misleading job prospect claims, and students with some of the highest debt loads. Consumer and Business News, Joe McConnell, NBC News Radio.
Russ Oliver writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Woonsocket. The Woonsocket City Council held fast to its commitment on Monday to move forward with greater tax parity for residential and commercial ratepayers on overriding Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt's vetoes on the central provisions of the $152.2 million fiscal year 2021 budget. The panel approved earlier in the month, citing the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Baldelli Hunt sought to restore the original version of the budget that she proposed, which had called for a tax cut of 1% for both classes of property owners. That's why she vetoed. Voting 5-2, however, the council restored the adjustments that they had voted on earlier. Taxes for both classes are still going down, but commercial ratepayers will get a reduction of almost 2%, and residential property owners will get just a fraction of a percent's relief. The
Council's budget boils down to a tax bill that's about $28 more for the average homeowner than the mayor's plan per year. The councilors who supported the override say the commercial sector shoulders such a top-heavy portion of the overall tax burden, far more than other communities nearby. The rate structure serves as a disincentive to keep existing businesses in the city or attracting new ones. Details in today's Woonsocket Call.
It's the worldwide sound of ON Radio.
Isn't it strange that Google, the company that virtually owns every single move you make on the internet, advertises on radio? Geico, the insurance outfit run by Warren Buffett, a guy who rarely makes stupid investments, purchases an obscene amount of radio ads. HomeAdvisor, Hotwire, Hulu, Netflix, Angie's List, Zillow, Hotels.com, Amazon, Priceline, and Wayfair all advertise on Mass Reach Radio. These are companies that exist only on the internet. What do they know that you don't? While internet-targeted advertising can be useful, it's weak at establishing new customers. For new customers, they turn to Mass Reach Media like radio. They know if the customer knows you before they need you, you get the click more often. This doesn't mean internet advertising is wrong, flawed, or useless. Quite the contrary. It's a perfectly viable way to advertise. But if someone tells you to throw all your advertising on the internet, tell them you will, just as soon as Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and Larry Page do the same.
ON Radio.
Do you remember the 20th century? If you do, you should be listening to Do You Remember? Weekday mornings on ON Radio. Hi, everyone. This is John W., and you know what they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. So share your memories with me and your friends Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. That's the Do You Remember program right here and only on ON, AM, and FM radio.
Hi, I'm Paul Eno. Ghosts, poltergeists, UFOs, Bigfoot, and weird phenomena that don't even have names yet.
And I'm Ben Eno. Every Sunday from noon to 1 p.m. here on ON 1240, get a whole new look at the weird world we live in on Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno.
Every week we bring you the world's greatest experts and most amazing experiencers, from PhDs to abductees.
And you'll see soon that explaining the paranormal isn't the problem, it's handling the explanations.
Be there.
Music all day, the wonderful ON way.
Right, day and night, WOON Woonsocket.
Russ Olivo writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call, the vote by the Woonsocket City Council this week to form an advisory board to review programs and policies for evidence of racial bias and other forms of discrimination passed unanimously, but the session was anything but an exercise in political harmony. It came after nearly an hour's worth of often heated discussion in which members traded some of the most prickly and unflattering rhetoric voiced during a meeting of the council in some time. Much of the hostilities spun off Councilman Alexander Kithes's relay of a last-minute request for changes to the board that would have removed much of the council's discretion to choose who may serve on it. The request, which Kithes had received after the meeting had actually began in a text message during the meeting's time, came from the Woonsocket Alliance to Champion Hope. That would have required the board to include 2 African Americans, 2 Asians, 2 Hispanics, 2 Native Americans, 2 women, and 2 homosexual or transgender people, and no other people. The sponsor of a series of Black Lives Matters protests in the city, Watch as they are known, has also sent all members of the council an email a few minutes before the meeting began, asking the proposal to form the board be tabled altogether. The email questioned whether the white members of the council could do a satisfactory job in assembling the racial review panel. Details in today's Woonsocket Call.
Odds are better than even. You've had some kind of employment change over the last few months. A new survey from tax preparer Jackson Hewitt says 55% of working Americans were affected in some way, ranging from having to work at home or being laid off or furloughed. For those collecting
The best variety of music. OM 1240.
Breakfast and lunch are always special at George's Restaurant because they care about what they serve. Breakfast includes all the popular favorites, including great pancakes like blueberry, cranberry walnut, and more. Try one of their creative omelets like Green Giant with broccoli, spinach, and peppers, or the Polsky omelet with kielbasa, bacon, and ham. George's Restaurant also features house favorites for lunch and daily specials like country fried pork chops or great-tasting salads with their own hand-sliced chips. George's Restaurant, 793 Harris Avenue, Woonsocket. Open 7 days a week. Takeouts welcome. 769-1036.
Call George's Restaurant at 769-1036 for takeout.
At Milford Federal Bank, we're not only bankers, we're neighbors, we're friends. We know your stories and you know ours. We participate in the same local traditions, support the same causes, care about the same issues, and take pride in doing our part to make the community the best it can be. Milford Federal Bank, proud to be your neighbor, your friend, and your bank since 1887. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Is your business struggling to be found on Google? Are you still trying to figure out how Facebook works? Are you wasting your money on social media? Do you just need more customers? If you do, then contact the local digital marketing team at Breeze Digital Media in Lincoln. Breeze Digital Media has programs that are approved by Google and Facebook and are designed to grow your business. Packages start at only $199 a month and include easy monthly reporting so you know where your investment is going. Contact Breeze Digital Media for a free marketing analysis of your business today. Call 401-334-9555, extension 154, anytime, or visit breezedigitalmedia.com/offer.
This ON 1240 forecast brought to you by Murphy's Gas on Social Street in Woonsocket, who reminds you that more germs are passed at self-service pumps than almost anywhere else. Murphy's Gas on Social Street provides personal service at or below self-serve prices while you remain in the comfort of your vehicle. And unlike other stations, it's the same price, cash or credit. A smarter, safer way to buy gas. Murphy's Gas, 1023 Social Street, Woonsocket. Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92.
All righty, Dave, that's a great forecast. This is John W., and you're listening to the Do You Remember program. If you're a first-time caller, or first-time, I should say, listener to this program, let me tell you very simply what it's all about. It's memories. It's the memories of what many of us would call the good old days. And those memories are as wide and varied as the memories are of the entire listening audience. And they can be, for example, about the places that we shopped, the places that we visited, the stores that we brought things back because we were very unhappy with them. So the memories can be both positive and negative in some respects, but they are memories, and hopefully we want to focus on the good memories of those periods in our lives that we want to talk about on today's program and tomorrow's once again. So if you want to join the conversation, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And before I go any further, let me just mention that outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studios, the thermometer is now up to, 78 beautiful degrees. This is, again, John W. And we've got a couple of open lines. And today's program is going to be a little different than the ones we've had in the past, where I'm going to be taking a poll, in essence, of items and things that we recall about the decade of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But we're also going to work into that poll or into today's show, the standard type of questions that we always have during the course of the years that this program has been on. So if you want to join in today's conversation, and you may want to ask a question of your own, or you have a question that you posed yesterday and didn't get an answer you were looking for, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And if you're listening on the internet, simply add a 401 to that number, making it 401-766-1240. That's 401-766-1240. The World of Disney, the wonderful World of Disney, it was on Sunday nights, and it had a variety of different types of programming that was provided during that hour that they were on. And there were some mini-series that were factored into it, and 4 of them had to deal with American heroes, as many of us would feel about these individuals. What were some of the American heroes or historical heroes, that were broadcast on those mini-series on Sunday nights as part of the wonderful World of Disney? And the phone lines are beginning to light up, so I can get right to the first caller of the day. Hey, good morning. You're on the air.
John?
I think so. Yes, it is.
Okay. I should hope you would. That's like, is this the party to whom I'm speaking? John, a couple of things. Number one, before we lose you tomorrow, were you familiar with Gene Shepard?
The name rings a bell.
Okay, Gene Shepard is the guy who did that series, the TV movie, The Christmas Story.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Okay. Well, Gene Shepard, I started listening to him in around 1966.
Yeah.
And if any of your listeners really love the stuff that you do, particularly the guys, they would really enjoy his material. He had, and they usually were presented as short stories, and they appeared in Playboy magazine. And then he consolidated 2 sets of them, and one was called In God We Trust, and it covered him as a kid, like you see in the TV series.
Yep.
And then he had a second one out, and it was called Phantom of the Open Hearth, and it's a steel mill town that he grows up in, and at that point he's then a teenager, and it's all the teenager angst and stuff. But I think it's amazing. It will cross age lines. People 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s would really appreciate that stuff. The other thing is, you mentioned the Disney thing.
Yes.
One of the shows, of course, would probably be the one everybody will hit, will be Davy Crockett.
Oh, of course. That's
okay.
one of them, yeah.
And one last thing, just thinking, I think it could be last night, I'd been working in the yard all day, and I was taking a shower, and as I was washing down my legs and down my feet, I remembered, suddenly it flashed back to me. Remember when you were a kid, and that wrinkly part, I guess it's your Achilles tendon, and it used to gather more damn mud and dust. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, I said, where the hell did that come from? But it's one of those things, you'd be out there in those stupid high-top, black sneakers. And the other thing we did in the neighborhood I grew up in, this up in Boston, we used to love to see the telephone guy come to town. They had the green trucks. The guy had a chain with a little piece of metal on that flipped around and made like a T.
Yep.
And on that chain, they would carry rolls of electrical tape, the old fabric stuff, not the PVC stuff now.
Yes, exactly.
And because we played in the schoolyard, any baseball that we had would get scuffed up very quickly, and the threads would give out, and then you'd have nothing.
Yeah.
And you'd always look for the phone guy, and invariably you could go up and say, hey, got any old rolls? And because they didn't want to be up on a pole and have to start a new roll of tape, if they had anything, they had like maybe just a third, sometimes almost a half. And we would then rewrap the baseball bat so that the crack wouldn't crack. Further. And we would wrap the baseballs. And the funny thing is, typical kid, no real talent at wrapping. And next thing you know, you had this sphere. It was not quite the shape of an egg, but it was elliptical. It was no longer round. And when somebody would pitch that in towards a broken bat, it probably had another 3 or 4 ounces of tape. So whatever bat you taped was soon destroyed from even that. But as they say, it's not a pleasant thought. I think, where the hell did that come? All of a sudden you remembered how dirty your ankles were getting. Your mother would say, go back, look at the back of your leg.
Oh, yeah, that was something that my mother would always focus on. Clean your ankles, clean your feet.
That was it.
They're
and
black.
And the other one is,
they're brown.
The other one is you'd be out walking. Pick up your feet.
Yeah.
All right, John, I'll get out of your way. Thanks enough for all you do.
Thank you so very much. Bye now. All righty, so we've got a couple of open lines. The number to call here is 766-1240, 766-1240. And I'm going to continue to be looking for the 3 remaining miniseries about American heroes that were on the wild or wonderful world of Disney back in the day. And if you can remember any of those, as this last gentleman did, Davy Crockett is the one he remembered, give us a call. And the number here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, during the period of the show, we've been talking about many things relating to the 50s, 60s, and 70s primarily. Some were in the 40s, some were clearly in the 80s. And today I'm going to be looking to take a poll of memories that we have about those good old days. And the poll is going to include a couple of items that we take for granted in some regards, and sometimes we think about them, sometimes we don't. These are the movies that we watched in the 60s. Our favorite movies. I'm looking for the favorite songs of that time period, again, 50s, 60s, or 70s, and the things that you dislike the most about that time period in your lives. So, again, I'm looking for memories going back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they're about music. They're about the movies that we watched, and about the things that we really disliked. And it could be about school. They could be about anything else in our life that you connect to that time period. So why don't you pick up the phone and join in the collection of this poll, so to speak. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And to add one more question, because it's a very wide open one, and when I do tours of the Woodstock Museum, there's an area called the Wall of the Years, and it goes through the entire decade of the 1960s. And I always ask the people in the tour group, what 3 things do you remember the most about the decade of the 1960s? So if you want to add that to the list of things when you're calling, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And we got a caller coming in, so let me get right to the phones here. Hey, Groovy, good morning to you. How you doing?
Okay, John, you're in good tone this morning.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, okay. We're going to spill over from yesterday, John.
Yeah.
I didn't catch I missed the first 10 minutes of the show. But I don't know if there was any questions that were put up.
Yeah, I'll repeat them when you're done. Yep.
Yeah. And that was the film that Michael Parks played the major role in the mid-'60s with Anne Margaret as a co-star.
Okay.
Mid-'60s movies featuring Michael Parks, and actually his character's name is mentioned in the title of the film.
Okay.
So, see if we can get that. Let's go to the music scene for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who was born today in 1942? He's 78. Who is he? That's all I got to say.
Born today in... Go ahead. The year again was?
1942.
1942, okay.
And one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, that would be... let's go to the awards ceremony, particularly the Grammys. Who was the first female to win the Best New Artist since the Grammy inaugurated back in the late 50s?
Okay.
First female to win the award, Best New Artist. Kind of tough. Happened in the mid to late 60s.
Okay.
And kind of have a flavor of a country rock singer, should I say.
Yep.
And she was the first to win the award. So you got a couple on board there, John?
Yeah, before you leave, Moose, I'm not sure if you were calling while I was talking about the poll I'm going to start taking today and probably run it into tomorrow. What are your, in the 60s, 50s, and 70s, we're going to stay within those 3 decades, 50s, 60s, and 70s, what songs do you like the most from that entire period? Just two or three. It's tough, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a vast vast number of songs that could apply to that question.
Yeah, of course. But some of them got to...
The 50s, I love Stardust, by Billy Ward and the Dominoes. I thought that was just a fantastic song.
Okay.
My Prayer, I thought was beautiful by the Platters.
Yeah, it certainly was.
In the 50s. And the 60s, oh my goodness. Really.
Yeah, it is.
So many of them.
Of course.
There's so many of them.
It's an amazing time.
Yeah, it's really hard to depict one or two, John.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tough question to answer.
Okay.
And you'd say, oh, I meant that. How about this song? I forgot this song. Oh, gee, the list is endless.
Sure. Well, it is. It's very. I'm interested to see what the final results will be. Collecting the number of people who like the same song and or movie, etc.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a shot later on about what you feel might be the 2 or 3 best songs that you remember from that time period.
Tough call there, Johnny.
It is. Some have to stick out, and I know you have some favorite groups that would probably come near the top of the list.
Yeah. Lovely to See You, Moody Blues.
All righty.
That was an album cut, never released as a single.
Yeah.
From On a Threshold of a Dream.
Yeah. Yeah, these can be album cuts. They don't have to be singles.
Beautiful song. Just an absolutely lovely song.
Can't argue that. Yeah.
We can go on and on.
Yeah.
I've taken up of your time. Let's get somebody else in, Johnny.
You got it, Moose.
Get those questions.
You got it. Take care.
I will give hints as we go along if nobody gets it, okay?
You got it. Take care.
You bet, John.
Yeah, bye now. Hey, thank you for holding on. Who am I speaking to?
Morning, John. This is Ken.
Hey, how you doing, Ken?
Good. One of those Disney series you're looking for, I think, was Scarecrow. It was about Francis Marion.
Yes.
Who was a revolutionary gorilla.
Gorilla, yes.
Crazy.
The Swamp Fox.
Yes, the Swamp Fox. That's
absolutely. Yeah, we got 2 out of the 3 now. Like 2 out of the 4, I should say.
He wore a Scarecrow mask and drove the British nuts.
Oh, he did. Yeah, and it's somewhat, from what I've read about it, reasonably factually based.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the Brits just weren't accustomed to that type of warfare where in their day people would line up with very colorful uniforms, stand still, and shoot at one another.
Right. And he operated in the shadows.
The shadows, yeah. Their people hid behind bushes, trees, in the trees. Yeah, they played by their own rules.
Yep. So that's one of them.
All righty.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for calling. Bye now.
You bet.
All righty, so it's time that we take our first commercial break. Hang in there, and we shall be right back with you.
ON 1240.
No more appointments needed at Family Discount Furniture. However, through June, they'll be open Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Regular hours will return in July. All Ashley Furniture items that are in stock can be picked up by you or delivered right away. Be sure to stop into Family Discount Furniture and see the selection of beddings, sofas, love seats, and more. Other stores talk about a deal, but there's nothing like the real thing. Family Discount Furniture on the corner of Diamond Hill Road and Social Street, Woonsocket. Annette at Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center reminds you that during these difficult times of COVID-19, Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center is prepared to help you make all your arrangements online in the safety and comfort of your home. This way, Woonsocket residents stay as safe as possible. Call 401-751-5000, 401-751-5000, and they will walk you through this easy, simple process. 751-5000, or visit their website, providencecremation.com. Baraducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center.
Oh, all righty. That caught me off guard for a moment. This is John W., and you're listening to the Do You Remember program. And presently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studios, the temperature is still at the 78-degree mark. We have a couple of open lines, so now's a great opportunity to join in the conversations that we're having this morning. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. So what are the 3 things that you remember the most? If you're a baby boomer, you probably are old enough to remember that decade of the 60s. What are the 3 events of that decade that you remember the most? And if you can't think of 3, if you can only 1 or 2 come up, That works also. So pick up the phone and let's see what you remember from that amazing decade. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And I'm also looking for other Walt Disney World productions that deal with American heroes. And we have Davy Crockett and the Swamp Fox, a.k.a. known as Marion. So I'm looking for two other individuals who were considered American heroes and were in those miniseries that the Wonderful World of Disney was running on Sunday evenings. So if you can remember those aspects of your life, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. The Internet has really put a crimp, so to speak, on libraries and book reading, unfortunately. But back in the day, could be anywhere again from that 50s, 60s, 70s, or even clearly even the early 80s or the 40s. If you were taking a book out of the local library and you were, for whatever reason, somewhat tardy or late in returning it, how much of a fine do you remember paying for that book? Was it 10 cents? Was it 2 cents? Was it $1? Let's see if people can remember what was the penalty for returning a book beyond its return by date to your local library. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And I'm also looking for something that was very popular, I would say almost totally in the decade of the 1970s. And those are CB radios. They were popular already before there were two movies that came out and further pushed their popularity or expanded their popularity. What were those two movies that really pushed the expansion of people going out and buying a CB radio? So if you remember those movies or you remember CB radios, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And we've got a couple of open lines, so now's a great opportunity to join in the conversations we've been having. And the Moose Man is also looking for, okay, let me pull up his paperwork here. He's also looking for a artist. Okay. I've got it. I'll get back to Moosey. I don't have it right here. Oh, yes, here he is. Michael Parks and Anne Margaret were in a movie in the mid-'60s. This is a leftover from yesterday. So why don't we work on this one first? What was the name of that movie that featured those two stars? And it came out in the middle part of the decade of the 1960s. And this is a holdover from yesterday. So let's see if we can clean up yesterday's questions before we move on to some of the others. So, again, if you feel you might have an answer, and even if it's wrong, why don't you give it a shot? Pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And some of the phone lines are beginning to light up, so let me get right to the callers here. Hey, a groovy good morning to you. How you doing?
Good. How you doing? This is Rita M. I'm going to take a crack at this question of movie star to win an Academy. I'm going to try Betty Davis.
Okay.
And songs or people that I really liked in the 60s, late 50s, the Elvis Presley. I always thought he was a real good singer, rapper.
Yeah. Is there any special Elvis song that you liked more than the others, or you just pretty much enjoyed all of his music?
I liked most of his music, but I also liked the song "Hurt" that he made before he passed away. "Hurt" and "Your Lord, You Gave Me a Mountain."
Oh yeah, okay.
I liked quite a bit of his music.
Yeah. How did you feel when you heard that he had passed away?
Oh, it was awful. I remember coming home from work and then they announced it on the radio or on the TV and I said, "You're kidding, right?" And I did get to see him, but it was in his later years when he had put on weight and but at least I got to see him.
Yeah, but his vocal cords seemed to, he did put on weight and he changed his uniform and his style, but I think his vocal cords still sounded, allowed him to really belt the songs out.
Right.
And hit the low and high notes. That's my 2 cents on it. Yeah, I thought he was still pretty good right up to the end. He had his down period, no question, but.
Oh yeah. Well,
he helped.
A lot of singers do too, right? You
yeah.
know, he wasn't the only one.
No, and he helped change the world of music. He began to bring rock and roll into, especially his early years, into the forefront of the listening audiences. So that was important, and he helped again that movement.
Right, and I'm going to wish you the best. I'm going to miss you. I says I just ended up finding the station back again, because I'm usually working, and of course because of the pandemic, I've been home, and I found you, and I said, oh, good, they have it again, and now you're going to be gone, so, well, best of luck.
Well, thank you very much. And I know the management here at the station is looking fervently for a replacement. I'm not sure what the status is. So keep listening in, and we may be able to give you some information a little later on about that. All righty?
Tell Moose to try it. I think he'd be good at it.
All righty.
All right. Have a good day.
Take care. Thanks for calling. Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hey, Groovy, good morning. You're live and on the air. Who am I speaking with?
This is Carl.
Hey, Carl. How you doing?
All right. I got a commonality.
All righty.
A Channel 12 newsman in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
A Dallas and Denver quarterback.
A Denver quarterback, right?
Dallas and Denver.
Dallas and Denver, okay.
And when it rains, it pours.
Oh, okay. I think I know. Okay, just gave it away. All right. The salt commercial. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. That's a good one, I think. We'll see what the listening audience. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, and somebody else will pick up and get the right answer. But I think I know what it is based on that last commonality.
Okay.
All righty, Carl. I do thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
By the way, do you have anything else? No.
Not right now.
All righty. We'll talk to you later then. Yeah. Bye now.
Bye.
All righty. We got a couple of open lines. The number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And as I said, we had open lines. A caller just came in. Good morning. You're live and on the air. How you doing?
Hi, John. Back at you, buddy.
Yeah. What do you got?
Maybe Carl's looking for Morton.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. When it rained, it pours, kind of did it. But
yeah,
you got the Dallas and Denver quarterback.
Yep.
Who was it?
Morton Blender, or are you talking about the?
No, that's CBS News.
Yeah.
Said it Channel 12, or was it CBS?
Channel 12, he mentioned.
Channel 12.
Yeah.
Morton.
Yeah, there was a Morton that I do recall was would provide the news. He was a newscaster or a newsreader.
Not Edward. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Rita, what she said. No, I think she misunderstood the question.
Okay.
I'm not looking. I'm looking for a Grammy Award, which is a music award.
Okay. Yep.
Not a film award.
Yep.
She had mentioned Betty Davis.
Yes.
We're looking for the first female to win the Best New Artist.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and it occurred in 1968, I believe.
Okay.
She had a country flavor kind of a voice and style. I'm looking for that. I'm gonna let the cat out the bag, and then you're up at the top of the break. Nobody's biting on that. Michael Parks and
not even a nibble. Yep, not even a nibble.
Of course, I'm going to give the answer. The name of the movie was Bus Riley's Back in Town.
Oh, okay.
He was a guy that he was in the Navy for 3 years. He returns to his home, da-da-dee-da-da-do.
Yep.
And Margaret used to be his girlfriend. Actually, the movie was not that good. It kind of flopped. But they had some very, very well-known actors and actresses in this movie. But the movie just didn't do that well, I don't think, at the box office. But that's the movie, Bus Riley's Back in Town.
You got it.
Michael Parks. So let's see if we can get that Again, who's 78 years old today in music history? A very, very well-known name.
Okay.
Okay?
I think we'll probably get some feedback after the hour here.
Okay, John, thank you.
Okay, talk to you later now. Okay, so this brings us right up to the point where we're going to be taking a pause for the cause. Hang in there, and we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live and local, daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON, Woonsocket Radio, ON, AM, and FM.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Coronavirus cases are spiking in several western states and southern cities. Tulsa County, Oklahoma, where President Trump holds a rally on Saturday, reported its highest number of new coronavirus cases this week. Memphis, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama, and Fayetteville, Arkansas have all made masks compulsory in public. Arizona's confirmed record numbers of cases over the past week. President Trump is telling Fox News those places are nothing more than temporary hotspots.
We're in great shape to put out I used to call them the embers or the flames. They flare up in certain areas a little bit, but I think we'll put them out very quickly, and we won't be closing the country again. We won't have to do that.
The United States has over 2 million confirmed cases of coronavirus, with over 117,000 deaths. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom says morale on the police department is down tenfold since charges were filed in the death of Rayshard Brooks last Friday. On Wednesday, former officer Garrett Rolfe was charged with 11 counts, including felony murder. Officer Devin Brosnan faces 3 charges, including aggravated assault. Both Rolfe and Brosnan are expected to surrender today. An attorney for Brosnan is refuting the Fulton District Attorney's claim that the officer will be a witness for the state in the Brooks case. Mike Bauer reports.
Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard revealed in his press conference yesterday that
Officer Brosnan has now become a state's witness. He has decided to testify on behalf of the state in this case.
However, immediately after that press conference, one attorney for Officer Brosnan said his client has not agreed to be the state's witness in the Rayshard Brooks death case. Attorney Don Samuel said Officer Brosnan is absolutely not guilty of any crime, will not plead guilty, and has not agreed to be a state's witness.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Join the Honey Shop for their grand opening as they expand their baked goods and specialty foods. This will include keto, Atkins, diabetic friendly, and gluten-free. Additionally, the Honey Shop will have artisan breads, sourdough, pizza strips, take and bake, and heat and eat meals. This grand opening and expansion of the baked goods will take place starting Wednesday, June 17th through Saturday, June 20th at the 6 Winthrop Street, Woonsocket location. For more information, go to the Honey Shop's Facebook page. Remember, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop. Good Stuff Smokehouse is offering their entire menu for takeout. Also, for the youngsters in the area, Good Stuff Smokehouse will offer a free kids meal to any child that comes in from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Friday, no questions asked. Good Stuff Smokehouse, 97 Main Street, Blackstone. Call them for takeout, and you can always purchase a Good Stuff Smokehouse gift card. Remember, Good Stuff Smokehouse offers Hickory Fire Barbecue smoked to perfection. Good Stuff Smokehouse.
This ON, AM, and FM forecast sponsored by Cuffs Counter in the Mill Race Kitchen, Market Square in Woonsocket. For outstanding sandwiches made from scratch with homemade pizzas, call Cuffs Counter for takeout, 774-571-9705, or visit cuffscounter.com. That's CUFFS counter.com. Cuffs Counter is open Friday and Saturday afternoons till early evening. Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92.
All righty, presently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio, the thermometer is now reading 79 beautiful degrees. This is John W., and you're listening to the Do You Remember program And our phone lines are all blinking, so let me get right to those callers. Hey, Groovy, good morning to you. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning, John. It's Bobby.
Hey, Bobby. What's up?
Hey, I'm going to probably answer Moose's question. Female artist in 1968 that won the Grammy was Bobby Gentry.
Bobby Gentry, of course.
If I remember correctly, it was Ode to Billy Joe that she did it with.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty much her claim to fame, yeah.
So that is my semi-educated guess.
Okay, I think you've got that right, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Anything else?
What came to mind. That's what came to mind anyway.
Yeah, immediately, likewise, yep.
Yeah. All righty, that's it.
Okay, I thank you for calling.
No problem, take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, Groovy, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, John. Thank you. I just got to tune in, and I also had the same answer as the previous fellow here, Bobby Gentry.
Bobby Gentry, sure.
Right, right. So that's it, and I'll be listening.
All right. Do you want to take the poll as to your favorite songs of the decades we talk about, 50s, 60s, or 70s?
Oh, geez, no. Let me think about that one.
Okay, that's fair.
There'd be a lot of them, let me tell you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye.
All righty, so we got a couple of open lines. The number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And we've got some callers once again coming in, so let me get right back to the phones here. Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air. Who am I speaking with?
This is Carl.
Hey, Carl. What do you have for us?
Well, most of the commonality in it.
I thought that would be the case. Yep.
In about 12 seconds.
Who was the Morton that was sided with the radio, the TV station and radio?
Mort Blender.
Mort Blender. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mort Blender, Craig Morton.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's all.
Oh yeah, we got them tied together. It was questioned by Moose. He wasn't sure about the correct term for the newscaster broadcaster there. All righty.
Okay.
Do you have any favorite songs of the 50s, 60s, or 70s you want to add to the list? And if not, just think about it and call back. Something that really jumps into the front of your mind when you think about that period in our lives.
I got a couple of one-word answers.
Okay.
The TV. Hullabaloo.
Yeah.
And Baywatch.
And Baywatch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got a question.
Go right ahead.
What product is advertised? Take it off, take it off, take it all off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That certainly got a lot of people's attention when that was being broadcast over the air. All righty.
Okay.
I think that one may go quick, Carl, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
Good work. I thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye now. Hey, good morning, and how are you doing?
Good morning, John. Leslie here.
Hey, Leslie, what do you have for us?
Couple of things. Take it off, take it all off. Noxzema shaving cream.
Yeah.
Joe Namath.
Yep.
And I believe today is Paul McCartney's birthday, 78.
It could very well be. That would sort of fit in. Yeah. Okay.
Well, sorry, I can't remember what else. But I will not be around to listen to you tomorrow, so I'm just calling to say goodbye.
Yeah, okay.
And I so enjoyed your program.
Well, I've enjoyed working and talking to all the people who've taken the time out of their busy days to pick up the phone and dial in. Let me ask you a quick question. You don't have to answer it now. You've still got more time on the show if you want to call back. What are your favorite songs of that decade of the 50s, 60s, 70s?
I'm with Taylor. There were so many of them.
Of course, yeah, it is tough. Just pick two or three, and you don't have to give it to me right now. But take a moment and just think if you had to run out of the house and you had to grab only one or two records, what records would you be taking with you?
Well, I've always loved the Moody Blues.
Okay.
Always loved the Moody Blues.
Yeah.
Then there was those novelty songs that were also funny back in the day.
Oh, they had dozens of those. Those have disappeared, by the way. If you listen to the current radio, you won't hear a novelty song, I don't think.
That's right. And WOON is the only one that I know that can play those kind of songs.
Yeah.
Like if I call up and I want to hear Spike Jones or I want to hear, Jolly Green Giant or any of that stuff.
Yeah, all of those, yeah.
You guys always play it, and I just think you guys are awesome.
I truly appreciate that feedback.
But again, I wish Sheila the best of luck, too. I believe that she said she might be going through radiation.
That's correct, yes.
I wish her the best of luck, and I will be praying for her.
We all will. We're all rooting for her.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, John. I hope to talk to you again before the end of the show today, but we'll see what happens. And again, best of luck to you.
So I thank you so very much.
All right, John, thanks.
Take care, Liz. Bye-bye. Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air. How you doing?
I'm doing well, John. This is Ed.
Hey, Ed.
I'm calling about a couple of favorite songs.
Yep.
Okay, one was the first 45 I ever bought to start my record collection, and this was in the mid-'60s, and it was I've Got You, Babe by Sonny and Cher.
Of course, yeah.
And then another favorite of mine was, believe it or not, MacArthur's Park by Richard Harris.
I love that song, actually, yep.
It has a great story to it, no question about it.
Yeah.
Now, you were asking about memories we had in certain times during that period?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the most memories that stuck in my mind is I was going to Hollowell School in North Smithfield, and it was the deadline of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh, yes.
And we were standing in line after recess or lunch, whatever it was, and the deadline was approaching. It was like noon or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like almost dead silent in the line. We were all wondering if we were going to have a nuclear attack.
Sure. I clearly remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that really stuck with us during that time.
Yeah.
And one other school memory, which was hard to understand when you're a kid, is we had to do some snow makeup days on a Saturday.
Oh, my gosh.
and that was awful because it was cartoon morning, remember?
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll never forget those couple of days.
Yeah.
And anyway, those are my freshest memories to contribute today.
I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing those.
Thank you, John, and you take care, okay?
Oh, okay, I certainly will.
Have a good day.
Take care, likewise. Bye now. All righty, so we've got a couple of open lines at the moment. If you want to call in and share some of those memories, as this last caller just did, about the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And we're talking about the music of that time period, about the movies, about things that we disliked, and maybe things that are the very most memorable of events that took place in the decade of the 60s. And that last caller mentioned the Cuban Missile Crisis. When I do my tours of the museum and we come up to that wall of years, and I do ask that question, what three items or things do you remember the most of the decade of the 60s? The Cuban Missile Crisis almost invariably comes up. Not always number one. There's a few others that move into that position as a rule, but it's almost always mentioned in the top three. So if you remember the decade of the 60s and remember certain events, and there's certainly many, many of those that took place in that period of time, pick up the phone and let's share those memories. 766-1240 is the number to call. And as I look at the clock, it's time for us to be taking a break, so hang in there, and we'll be right back with you.
ON Radio.
So you're remodeling your home, and you want to find just the right flooring. So off you go to DRL Carpet. Why? Because they have the best selection and prices in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That means you don't have to wait. Plus, it means you can get it installed now. So first you get the best price, next you get the best service, and you get the best selection. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, hardwood floors, the place to shop is DRL Carpet, 27 Veterans Way, Woonsocket, next to World War II Veterans Memorial Park. DRL Carpet reminds you there's a big difference between getting the job done and getting the job done right. DRL Carpet of Woonsocket.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
This ON AM and FM forecast sponsored by Travel Advisors International, 500 Menden Road in Berkeley Commons in Cumberland. Same phone number they've had for 30 years, 7251234. Experienced, trusted travel professionals on the web at www.taitrips.com. Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92.
All righty. Presently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studios located at the intersection of Park Avenue and Kennedy Streets. The thermometer is now reading 79 degrees. This is John W., and you're listening to the Do You Remember program, and we have a full set of lights blinking on the phone, so let me get right to those callers. Hey, good morning, and thank you for being patient. How you doing?
Well, you're welcome, John. Back at you. We have correct answers all over the place.
All over the place, Moose.
78 today is Paul McCartney.
Yep.
78. Hard to believe. And still performing. Yeah. With his Wings bands and that whole thing. Anyway, he's 78 today. And Bobby from Cumberland, he's got that Best New Female Artist, the first female artist to win a Grammy for Best New Artist.
Bobby Gentry, of course.
Right.
Yes.
That song put her on the map. But she really didn't do that much after that, John.
No.
No, she did some stuff with Glenn Campbell and stuff like that, but she kind of like disappeared.
She faded away, melted away.
Yeah. So I have one more question for you, and it is Beatle related, and it is George Harrison related.
Okay.
Now, he had 3 number 1 hits. Of course, My Sweet Lord. Okay?
Yep.
I've got my mind set on you, which was brought up last week.
Yeah.
And another one. What is it? He had another number 1 song. I believe it came out just about this time, in the 70s.
Okay.
He first started recording solo in 1970, right after the Beatles breakup.
Yeah.
So what's his other number 1 hit? My Sweet Lord, I've Got My Mind Set on You, and what? What's his third?
Okay.
We throw that in there, John. Thank you, bud.
All righty. Take care. Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air. How you doing?
Good morning, John. It's Bobby again.
Hey, Bobby.
Put my thinking cap on, and for songs that I enjoyed throughout the years, I'd have to start in the 60s with Bill Shannon and Runaway.
Oh, sure.
Melanie with Candles in the Rain.
That was about Woodstock.
Yeah. I've followed Melanie ever since that song.
All right.
And then any song off the Moody Blues album, Days of the Future Past.
Oh, sure. Yep, that's a fabulous album.
Yeah. And your first caller mentioned Gene Shepard in A Christmas Story.
That's correct.
And the book, In God We Trust. I have that book at home. That's a wonderful book. For anyone who hasn't read it, basically Ralphie revisits the hometown and spends the day in the bar that's owned by his best friend, Flick. And they share stories, which in turn becomes part of the stories of that book. And most of those stories are reflected in the movie A Christmas Story.
Yeah, they're Do You Remember type of songs, songs of stories.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
I would highly recommend it to anyone. It's a terrific book.
I totally agree with you, 100%.
Yeah. So those are my reflections.
All righty. I thank you so very much.
No problem.
Take care now. Bye now. All righty. So as I'm looking at the phone bank, one of the phones is blinking here, so let me get right to this caller. Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air.
Oh, yes, I am. John, okay, I wasn't really much of a Beatle person. However, I did like George Harrison. And I'm not sure, but I don't know if it was number 1, but Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth. I don't know if that was the number 1 hit for him. But I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
And also, thinking back of the songs that I grew up with, actually, like, around 53, 54, the firemen used to have a dance tour. It was upstairs in the fire station. And one of the first songs I remember that we danced to was Joe Stafford's version of You Belong to Me. And then later on, when the Duprees did it, oh, my God, that's the song I've always loved,
Yeah.
And then also, in the 50s, too, I was a screaming teen for Elvis, And then later on, Johnny Mathis came along, and, oh, my God, I've loved him forever and a day.
Yeah.
And then getting on to the others, into doo-wop and stuff, rhythm and blues, and that was Jackie Wilson, one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. So those were some of them. In the Platters, too, that they were way up there, especially Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
Oh, of course. Those are all-star groups and all-star songs that you just mentioned. Yep, absolutely, all of our winners.
Okay, and I'd like to thank everyone that's been giving me hope and so forth. And I just want to say that I've done very well.
Okay.
I have one more chemo, and then I'm going through radiation, and everything has gone very, very well for me. So just thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers and so forth.
Okay, and they'll continue to be with you right up to the right up through you till you finish this process.
Okay, thanks a lot. Talk to you later, Johnny. Okay,
take care. Bye now. Okay, so we've got a couple of open lines here. Number to call is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. We've got about 8 minutes left in the show, so there's still plenty of time to join in some of the discussions. The 60s. Amazing period in our nation's history. Changed our culture, changed our society, changed the way of life for many people. And there were amazing number of events. Not all of them were positive. 1963. What happened in the year of 1963 in November that would be forever in the minds of many of us baby boomers? So if that brings back some memories that you want to share, pick up the phone and tell us what happened in November of 1963. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And, got some of the phones are beginning to light up, so let me get right to those callers. Hey, Groovy, good morning to you. How you doing?
Good morning, John. It's Ed again.
Hey, Ed.
Another memory I was going to bring up was that day in November when President Kennedy was shot.
Yeah.
I was on the school bus, and as we came home, a mother of one of the kids on the school bus said that the president was shot, and that was such a scary moment. And at night, I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And it was a very tough period, no question about it. But that's the memory I have then. And then in the latest 60s was Martin Luther King's assassination.
Yes. Yeah. And what happened about 4 weeks after that? Do you remember?
And then, yes, Robert Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah.
That was just a terrible period of the 60s.
Oh, absolutely. It was frightening. When you think about 3 people being gunned down, 3 top officials or leaders, 3 national leaders being gunned down within a 5-year period, that's certainly frightening.
That's true. It was, at that time, such a horrible period, yet the 60s were so great in so many ways, but that was the dark spot.
Certainly, All right.
Well, again, thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah,
Bye.
Take care. Bye now.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air. With whom do I have the pleasure to be speaking with at the moment?
It's Carl again.
Hey, Carl.
Noxema medicated.
Yeah.
Comfort Shave.
You got it. Yep.
Yeah.
That was what Joe Namath, and what was her name?
Mamie Van Doren.
Yeah, okay.
I think.
Could have been Anne Margaret, too. I'm not sure. Or we may have had more than one of those models.
Yeah.
All righty. Anthony, go ahead.
A lot of songs from way back.
Yeah.
Personality. Lloyd Price.
Yeah. I like the rhythm and the beat on that. Yeah, it's upbeat, sure.
My Girl, The Temptations.
Sure, yeah.
And Rocket Man might have been in the 70s.
Sure, yeah. Another great song. All of those.
That's it.
Yeah. All righty. I do thank you so very much for sharing.
Yeah,
Take care, Carl. Bye now. Okay, so once again, we've got a couple of open lines. The number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. Now, as the decade of the 60s was winding down into its final couple of years, there were some positive things that did come out on the news, national and international news. And one of them has to do with the U.S. NASA program. What special event happened in that time period that would change the world in many regards. And that happened in the latter part of the 60s. If you can remember what that NASA event, that's the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, if you're not familiar with that term, they were able to do something that had never been done before. So what was that event that occurred back in the latter part of the decade of the 1960s? So if that brings back some memories, pick up the phone and dial 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And again, we've got a couple of open lines, so there's a great opportunity to join in today's discussions that we're having. And, okay, the phone lines continue to be quiet, so I can toss out some additional questions. And if you had posed a question, if you're one of the callers who had posed a question that didn't receive much response, pick up the phone and give us some hints. The number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And again, the phones are beginning to light up, so let me get right back to those callers. Hey, good morning. You're live and on the air. How's it going?
Hi, John. I'm doing fine, thank you. Sheila, the Queen.
Yes.
She's got the other Harrison #1 hit.
Okay.
Give me love, give me peace on earth.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I'm sure you'll be hearing from Sheila again on this program probably tomorrow, but I only wish her the best. Boy, she's one heck of a smart girl.
Oh,
too.
Absolutely. So, very enjoyable to
I'll be phoning in tomorrow, John. I won't miss your
swan song?
Goodbye, so
okay.
But you have a good day, and hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, got it, Moose. So Thank you so very, very much.
You bet.
Bye now. Okay, so once again, we've got some open lines. The number to call is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. So what was happening that was on the positive side, at least by most people's perspective, was on the positive side that wrapped up the decade of the 1960s. And the number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And again, this event is tied into NASA. That's the space agency. All right. I thought I saw the phones blinking, but I guess not. Okay, so number to call here is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And we've got a bit of time, so if you want to get in under the wire, certainly there's time to do that and provide me with the answer I'm looking for. Again, the number is 766-1240. That's 766-1240. And, okay, the phone lines are quiet, so it looks like we're going to be passing on that question. And the answer to that question clearly was the landing of a human on the moon. We were the first, and so far the only nation to have landed humans on that other it's not a planet. It's a moon, which is different than a planet, astronomically speaking. And that happened in the year of 1969, not too far from the time when the Woodstock Music and Art Fair was just beginning to crank up. So until tomorrow, because we're going to be wrapping up the program, we're at that 10:30 mark. Until tomorrow, stay safe, and we'll be back with you at that point. Take care.
WOON Woonsocket.
Hi, this is Jody. It's now time for Living the Country Life, brought to you by Pepin Lumber, 830 Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Livestock owners who need quick forage might consider planting oats. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Oats are an excellent bridge while you're waiting for the pasture grasses to grow as you're living the country life.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
If you're looking for new ideas for what to do around your place in the country, register for the Living the Country Life newsletter. Once a week, you'll receive helpful tips in your inbox on a wide variety of seasonal and timely topics, along with so much more. Living the Country Life is for all those people who love to live in the country. Sign up for your free newsletter today by visiting livingthecountrylife.com.
I have a friend who plants a small patch of oats at the farm to harvest for grain and straw bedding. He doesn't graze it, but he could if the pasture wasn't coming in. Vic Martin is an ag instructor at Barton County Community College in Kansas. He says oats are best suited for hay or silage, but can also provide a quick, high-quality food source for cattle, sheep, and horses. Once planted, oats are ready for grazing in 4 to 5 weeks under good growing conditions.
Let it get about 6-7 inches of good growth on it. It starts to tiller out, and you go out and then kind of tug on it and make sure that it's well rooted so it's not going to come out easily, and then you can turn them out. You want to graze them rapidly enough that you don't let it start to get more stemmy, and you don't want to graze it so hard that you kind of kill the plant back. That's something that you have to keep an eye on.
Martin says a good way to manage an oat pasture is to divide it up into paddocks. Graze one section hard until the plants are down to about 2 inches, then move the animals to the next paddock. Oats have a high nutritional value, and you can graze it according to your needs.
This is 8-9% protein, 55-60% total digestible nutrients. You can turn them out for a while and then bring them in, or turn them out and bring them to an adjacent pasture. So there's a whole variety of things depending on how much labor and time that whoever's doing this wants to put into it.
Oats are often used as a companion crop when producers are starting alfalfa fields. When they take the first cutting, high-quality oats are in it too. Typically, oats are meant for the cool season and only good for a couple of months. Once the heat takes over, the plant will shut down. Learn more about grazing oat pastures at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com.
Father's Day is coming June 21st. Pepin Lumber is your Milwaukee tool headquarters. Pepin Lumber has these Milwaukee tools: drills, drywall guns, routers, sanders, cordless tools, and circular saws. Plus, Pepin Lumber has Milwaukee Tools t-shirts and baseball hats in black and gray in stock. A great gift for Dad is at Pepin Lumber on Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Visit them online at pepinlumber.com.
This ON AM and FM forecast brought to you by Boscheman Lumber, 334 Social Street, Woonsocket, 762-1657. Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92. We're local and live at...
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Summer's here, and it's time to enjoy the season. That means it's time to feed your yard with Scotts. It's easy to help your lawn stand up to summer's wear and tear, to keep it lush and green and help prevent those brown spots. It's time to get outside and enjoy every day. And Scotts has got you covered, because even though this summer may feel different, the best things never change. So let's get to it. It's time to enjoy your yard. Scotts. It's good out here.
On ON Radio.
Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker has announced the details of a bill he's proposing designed to increase accountability of police. Baker's proposal would create a certification program for police officers with licenses that need to be renewed every 3 years. It would create a process where officers who fail to live up to their oaths can be decertified. The bill would also create a database where anyone could look up the status of a police officer. Are you tired of the same old dishing and depressing chatter in the morning radio? Then don't get down. Get up with me, Dave Richards, from 5 to 8 a.m. each weekday. On the Road with Joe, fun, the trivia quiz, and interesting stories, and your favorite tunes by your request. Don't get down. Get up with Dave. Weekday mornings only on ON, AM, and FM. The Rhode Island General Assembly has approved a ban on 3D printed guns and untraceable or undetectable guns known as ghost guns. Governor Raimondo has publicly indicated she intends to sign the bill into law that was sent to her desk. The legislation calls for a prison sentence of up to 10 years and up to $10,000 in fines for violations of that law. The Rhode Island House passed another bill last night sent on to the Senate that requires background checks for firearm purchases to be run by the buyer's hometown police department, who may, in some cases, know them better. Sunshine and 87 degrees. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, it'll be gradually clearing during the day, becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees. Saturday, sunshine and 90 degrees. Sunday, sunshine and 87. Monday, sunshine and 85. Tuesday, sunshine and 92. And next Wednesday, sunshine and 92. Just a reminder from your friends at ON Radio. ON Cares.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Joe Fitzgerald writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Blackstone. Mary E. Bolso and Robert J. Kluchevitz are the two new members of the Blackstone Board of Selectmen. Bolso and Kluchevitz were the two top vote-getting candidates in Monday's annual town election, defeating incumbents Margaret Bick, who came in third, and Gerald P. Rivet. According to Town Clerk Tara C. Sullivan, a total of 898, or 14% of Blackstone's voters, came out to the polls. Bolso was the high vote-getter in the four-way race for selectmen, with the 2 3-year seats up for grabs. Collecting more than 521 votes, Kluchevitz placed second with 412, Bick got 402, and Rivet came in with 365. Lots of details, including a focus on the Millville voting in today's Woonsocket Call. Hundreds of supporters and hundreds of critics of police held dueling protests in the West Roxbury section of Boston yesterday. The group of neighborhood residents organized yesterday's initial rally to recognize police, firefighters, and other first responders. Then, Black Lives Matter activists headed to the same scene and protested the event, that is, the protest in favor of the cops, saying that it was created to amplify the voices of police and silent black victims. While the protests had some angry words for each other, essentially the event remained peaceful. Colleges in Providence are sharing plans for reopening this upcoming fall semester. PC is planning to welcome undergraduate classes back to campus. On August 31st, Providence College will hold an in-person classes prior to Thanksgiving break, and then learning will go remote and stay that way for final exams and assessments. Johnson & Wales University is also employing that model after a break says that in-person classes and remote learning will be included to start the semester. Rhode Island School of Design says it's employing a de-densify model with core studio and shop-based courses held in person.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
An agreement has been reached between the state of Massachusetts and a New Jersey company on decommissioning the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Station. Holtec International pledges to decommission the plant in Plymouth within 8 years, even though it has never performed such work before.
Attorney General Maura Healey says the agreement provides environmental, public safety, and financial protections for the state as the plant is dismantled. The plant stopped making power last year.
ON Worldwide.
A Rhode Island brewery is earning some buzz this week for a new beer that throws shade at Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski for leaving the New England Patriots. Brady said Brady and Gronk are set to make their debuts with a Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the upcoming NFL season. Pawtucket-based Smug Brewing beer of note is an Imperial Fruit Sour with a sea salt called Traitor Aid. Sounds tasty. The Rhode Island General Assembly has approved a ban on 3D printed guns and untraceable or undetectable guns known as ghost guns. Governor Raimondo has publicly indicated she intends to sign the bill into law that was sent to her desk. The legislation calls for a prison sentence of up to 10 years and up to $10,000 in fines for violations of that law. The Rhode Island House passed another bill last night sent on to the Senate that requires background checks for firearm purchases to be run by the buyer's hometown police department, who may, in some cases, know them better.
ON Radio, ON Worldwide, in Woonsocket.
The Rhode Island Attorney General, Peter Nerona, is announcing updated rules for reviewing use of force by law enforcement. The AG's office says police departments must now submit for review reports on incidents involving alleged excessive use of force and less than deadly force resulting in serious injury, in addition to reporting incidents of deadly force usage and deaths of people in custody. The goal is to hold officers who use excessive force accountable before it results in death, according to Nerona.
Russ Oliver writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Woonsocket. The Woonsocket City Council held fast to its commitment on Monday to move forward with greater tax parity for residential and commercial ratepayers on overriding Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt's vetoes on the central provisions of the $152.2 million fiscal year 2021 budget. The panel approved earlier in the month, citing the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Baldelli Hunt sought to restore the original version of the budget that she proposed, which had called for a tax cut of 1% for both classes of property owners. That's why she vetoed. Voting 5-2, however, the council restored the adjustments that they had voted on earlier. Taxes for both classes are still going down, but commercial ratepayers will get a reduction of almost 2%, and residential property owners will get just a fraction of a percent's relief. The council's budget boils down to a tax bill that's about $28 more for the average homeowner than the mayor's plan per year. The councilors who supported the override say the commercial sector shoulders such a top-heavy portion of the overall tax burden, far more than other communities nearby. The rate structure serves as a disincentive to keep existing businesses in the city or attracting new ones. Details in today's Woonsocket Call. Russ Oliver writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from North Smithfield, it looks like the poster child for Northern Rhode Island's neglected road infrastructure, you guessed it, Route 146, is finally in line for a comprehensive makeover that includes the most deteriorated stretches of the region's principal artery. The Rhode Island Department of Transportation has been awarded a landmark $65 million federal grant to overhaul Route 146. The money comes from the Infrastructure for Rebuilding America grant, the INFRA, and will cover the replacement of multiple bridges and the reconfiguration of the much-decried interchange at Sales Hill Road, a veritable strip of pothole-ridden rubble. The reporter says in today's call, the repairs will cover the reconstruction of miles of roadway on the road's path through Rhode Island, as well as improvements to enhance safety and reduce congestion. Details in today's Woonsocket Call. Russ Oliver writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Woonsocket. The Woonsocket City Council held fast to its commitment on Monday to move forward with greater tax parity for residential and commercial ratepayers on overriding Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt's vetoes on the central provisions of the $152.2 million fiscal year 2021 budget. The panel approved earlier in the month, citing the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Baldelli Hunt sought to restore the original version of the budget that she proposed, which had called for a tax cut of 1% for both classes of property owners. That's why she vetoed. Voting 5-2, however, the council restored the adjustments that they had voted on earlier. Taxes for both classes are still going down, but commercial ratepayers will get a reduction of almost 2%, and residential property owners will get just a fraction of a percent's relief. The council's budget boils down to a tax bill that's about $28 more for the average homeowner than the mayor's plan per year. The councilors who supported the override say the commercial sector shoulders such a top-heavy portion of the overall tax burden, far more than other communities nearby. The rate structure serves as a disincentive to keep existing businesses in the city or attracting new ones. Details in today's Woonsocket Call. Joe Fitzgerald writes on the front page of today's Woonsocket Call from Blackstone. Mary E. Bolso and Robert J. Kluchevitz are the two new members of the Blackstone Board of Selectmen. Bolso and Kluchevitz were the two top vote-getting candidates in Monday's annual town election, defeating incumbents Margaret Bick, who came in third, and Gerald P. Rivet. According to Town Clerk Tara C. Sullivan, a total of 898, or 14% of Blackstone's voters, came out to the polls. Bolso was the high vote getter in the four-way race for selectmen, with the 2 3-year seats up for grabs. Collecting more than 521 votes, Kluchevitz placed second with 412, Bick got 402, and Rivet came in with 365. Lots of details, including a focus on the Millville voting in today's Woonsocket Call.
Colleges in Providence are sharing plans for reopening this upcoming fall semester. PC is planning to welcome undergraduate classes back to campus. On August 31st, Providence College will hold an in-person classes prior to Thanksgiving break, and then learning will go remote and stay that way for final exams and assessments. Johnson & Wales University is also employing that model after a break says that in-person classes and remote learning will be included to start the semester. Rhode Island School of Design says it's employing a de-densify model with core studio and shop-based courses held in person. Hi, folks. This is Dave Richards. You know, over the next couple of weeks, most of us are going to see a deposit in our bank accounts or a check from the federal government. The average family of 4 will receive $3,400. Now, if you need this money to pay your bills, that's what you should do. But if you're still getting paid, the money that's been sent to you is to help stimulate your local economy. We'd like to encourage you to spend that money locally to help our local economy first. Please don't go out running to big box stores where the money leaves town and leaves the state, as a matter of fact. Think of the local mom-and-pop businesses right here in the Blackstone Valley. And think local first. Buy local first. Support your friends and neighbors. Thank you. Just a reminder from your friends at ON Radio. ON Cares.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
The Rhode Island General Assembly has approved a ban on 3D printed guns and untraceable or undetectable guns known as ghost guns. Governor Raimondo has publicly indicated she intends to sign the bill into law that was sent to her desk. The legislation calls for a prison sentence of up to 10 years and up to $10,000 in fines for violations of that law. The Rhode Island House passed another bill last night sent on to the Senate that requires background checks for firearm purchases to be run by the buyer's hometown police department, who may, in some cases, know them better.
ON Worldwide. WOON Woonsocket. 1240 Woonsocket. First for fun, we're number one. The fun spot, it's true, is the Big W. Big W Woonsocket.
The Rhode Island General Assembly has approved a ban on 3D printed guns and untraceable or undetectable guns known as ghost guns. Governor Raimondo has publicly indicated she intends to sign the bill into law that was sent to her desk. The legislation calls for a prison sentence of up to 10 years and up to $10,000 in fines for violations of that law. The Rhode Island House passed another bill last night sent on to the Senate that requires background police department, who may, in some cases, know them better.